to Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stat Scoresworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you on this Thursday afternoon. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours and a ton to get into today. First round of the NBA draft completed last night. Round 2 gets started right now, 3 o'clock over on ESPN. Round 2 today, so a lot of draft talk over these next 3 hours. The Grizzlies got their guy Zach Edey at number 9, a guy that we discussed a lot yesterday during our show before the draft. It ended up happening. They took him at number 9. So a ton to get into today over these next 3 hours. A ton of basketball talk with everything that happened in the draft last night and what still could happen today over these next couple of hours. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well on the shock meter. What was last night? We were expecting big things. What did we get from the hometown team?
I was pretty surprised. I was left speechless when the pick was announced. So
Speechless good, speechless bad.
Speechless bad.
I thought so, and you were clear about that yesterday. I'm more favorable to it than I ever dreamed I would be, and coming out of the NCAA tournament did that. It's a position of great need for the Grizzlies. They were going big. I think they tried for Donovan Clingan, who only went one spot in front of Zach Edey. And remember, they matched against each other in the national championship game.
Yeah.
Edey didn't have quite the supporting cast that Clingan had.
Right. Which I think was part of my diswant for Clingan, is kind of that supporting cast he had around him and kind of what happened in the last game. I see so many people pointing that out today that were big Clingan supporters yesterday and saying, but look, Clingan, is he really as good as we said he was? Look at what Edey did to him in the national championship game, which I don't think, one game is not everything. And so now I was surprised, but here we are. Zach Edey is a Grizzly.
Here we are. He is and will be in town tomorrow for the big media availability, and I look forward to it. I want him to do well, but I want to get everybody officially on the record going forward because I don't want any of this 2 or 3 years afterwards like Hasheem because I remember the day after Hasheem. And I'm not saying unanimity. There was one or two prominent voices out there.
Right.
But everybody else was lockstep.
Sure.
Okay, maybe everybody didn't say you can't teach 7-3 and the player comparisons. But people were not opposed to that the day after.
Sure.
And of course, the easiest thing in the world to do is say, well, let's wait and see. When do we ever do that?
Not very often.
When we do these mountain of college football W's and L's, we're not waiting and seeing.
No.
We're predicting. We're forecasting. Right. We're giving our opinion. We're in the opinion business.
Sure.
This isn't NPR where we're just reading last night the Memphis Grizzlies selected Zach Edey with the 9th pick. we elaborate.
Yeah.
We have, I hope, conviction about things. And then if you're wrong, like I was about Hasheem Thabeet and owned it consistently through the years, often alone in that from a lot of people that ran for the tall grass. I don't want to have this repeat again with Zach Edey.
Right. Well, if it doesn't work out, we probably will have that same.
How much did Zach Kleiman put on the line last night with this pick?
He put a lot. I mean, this is by far the most controversial pick of the first round last night. I mean, it does not seem – I think every other pick, it's either everyone agrees, like, yeah, that's a good pick, or everyone agrees, whatever. But this one, it's either you love this pick or you hate this pick. There's not much in between.
I agree with that.
And so I think he put a lot on the line. I mean, because if this works out – it's great. You did a great job. Way to take your guy at 9. Way to not listen to anybody and not trade back. You took your guy at 9. You stuck to your gut feeling, and you got your guy. Good job. If this doesn't work out for him, I mean, this is a pick that sticks with you. It
could get you fired.
Exactly. Not only because of who Zach Edey is, and kind of already what people say about him before draft day and everything else, but the fact that you look at big boards, you look at mock drafts, it was always around the middle to late teens for Zach Edey, is where it felt like it ended up right before the draft, and you took him at 9. And so, this one is going to be one that it's either really going to work out for him or it's not going to work out for him. And you're right, it could be a one that sticks with him for a very long time.
I knew this for a long time, and I voiced it mostly in the last 3 months in the need for a big and hopefully trying to get one out of this draft. The ghost of Hasheem Thabeet exists. A lot of people, I don't think, recognize that through the years, and I didn't hear many voicing that. It really exists, and it exists now. Here's something that's different about the ghost of Hasheem that will be different from if Zach Edey is just absolutely a garden variety bust. You don't have as many people behind Zach Edey that you can go, yeah, we should have got him. Yeah, we could have gotten him.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, that one's killing us. Because 2 and 9, it's so different.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
At 2, you had
every pick in the draft but one, Brett. I mean,
you had everybody behind you. You don't have this, and that helped Zach Kleiman. So what is working out for Zach Kleiman? What insulates him from any heavy criticism with Zach Edey, say, over the next 2 to 3 to 4 years?
I think he has to be a serviceable starter. And I think if he does his job, if he's a starting caliber center that you can play not only in the regular season but also in the postseason, then yeah, it's a success. I think that's all he needs to be.
Serviceable starter by when?
I say by
February?
Yeah.
Next year?
It depends on who you talk to, because I feel like, again, I'm taking crazy pills. It feels like yesterday all the talk was you take Zach Edey and you don't need him to play starter minutes, and now it feels like I'm hearing some people starting to say he's going to be your starter day one and he's going to get a bunch of minutes. I don't know. I need everyone to get on the same page with Zach Edey. It feels like a lot has changed in the last 48 hours about how everybody feels about Zach Edey. And obviously that's going to happen when your team takes him. I understand that. But, if you think that he needs time, which I'm certainly one of those people, if he's going to be successful, I say by year 2. If year 2 he's a serviceable starter and is able to give you minutes in the regular season and in the postseason, then I say good job. That was a good pick. Job well done. I think some people are probably saying that for year 1, though.
If we're sitting here at the conclusion, not here, but it'd be a couple months before now, 2 years out at the conclusion of the 26th season, and there's no doubt, Zach Edey's a bust.
Yeah,
could he be sent to South Haven with his contract?
Yeah, because Zaire went to South Haven.
Okay, so he's had to have a couple tours at South Haven to try to work things out, and it's not good, and the Grizzlies make the playoffs both years and are out in the first round. Zach Kleiman's in trouble, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. I think so, yeah.
It was a job on the line move last night, but the players selected after him, who burns Zach Edey and the Grizzlies selected right behind him that people can immediately start pointing to, if we'd just gotten this guy, that would have helped.
I think probably the one that a lot of people are going to say, and it's the name you've heard ever since they took Zach Edey, is why didn't you take Connect? And I know Connect fell to 17, but I still think he is one of the guys that if he goes out to L.A., he's a knockdown shooter. He's a guy that's producing for him. He gets, shows that he can be a better defender than what he's shown in the past. Then that's one that I think a lot of people circle just because of where he was mocked, and that seemed like a logical decision if the Grizzlies had stayed at 9, which is what they did. I think that's one. I'm hoping Matas Buzelis is one just because I've been so high on Buzelis. He started falling last night. When the Grizzlies got to 9, I said, oh my gosh, Buzelis is still on the board. Connect is still on the board. They're going to get one of those guys. So I think probably one of those. There may be one or two more in there. Maybe Cody Williams.
Cody Williams, Zaire Williams. Topic. Devin Carter or old Bub Carrington. The one that will smart, the one that will just cut right to the quick is Dalton Connect.
Yeah.
Because of where he was mocked and where he played 1 year.
Yeah.
1 year. I'm having people today almost describe, this guy like he's Ernie and Bernie.
Yeah.
like he was like he's been at Tennessee.
That's right.
Since T. Martin carried him to a national championship. He was there 1 year.
That's
he had a great year.
Sure.
But I didn't know there was the natural East Tennessee nexus to Memphis Grizzlies fans, and we even talked about Brian. I brought it up, and I'm glad now that I did. Of would he sell tickets? Does that matter? And we mostly agreed it would be nominal at best, and it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. But you did see a lot of that last night. I mean, I saw one tweet that was like, so many people ask me and other Tennessee friends of mine why we don't support other in-state teams like the Titans and the Grizzlies. This is an example why. They pass over a Tennessee Vol great and take somebody else. And I was like, okay, I like Connect. I wish the Grizzlies had taken Connect at 9. But like you said, Brett, he played there 1 year. I mean, he was great. He was awesome. 1 year.
That person that tweeted that, I'm not going to say a year ago. I'm going to go up to October even.
Okay.
16 months ago, he couldn't have spelled Connect.
No.
He didn't know the man was alive.
Not a clue. But yesterday he did, and he let everybody know about it. So
and I think that's total garbage. Now, Connect can burn us badly. A lot of the reasons in the West, with the Lakers.
Sure, yeah. I mean, and that's definitely out there. I mean, he's going to L.A., and we know how L.A. has been these last couple years. Last time you were in the tournament, it was L.A. that got
Bounced
you. And so, they're obviously going to have a lot of attention. They got a ton of attention going into day 2 because of who's still on the board, which, I mean, Brett, I like Bronny. I'm fine with Bronny. I think I'm one of the more positive ones about Bronny. But seeing some of the headlines last night after the draft of Bronny James still on the board, like, all right, guys, come on, everybody calm down. We all knew he was going to be
it really is cuckoo land.
It's crazy. It's insane. But, hey, that's the clickbait stuff. That's what I guess works on the internet now is getting people to click.
It does, and was on the front page of ESPN.com most of the day. It's now been I think it's been flipped now to Kyle Filipowski.
Sure.
I'd stay with Bronny before I'd have him
Poor Filipowski.
Last time we kind of heard or saw him locally, he and Jay Billis were whining about Tennessee being mean.
That's right. Yeah, no, that's
being too rough in the tournament.
That's right. Yeah. So it was an interesting first round, and who knows? Maybe it'll be an interesting second round. Grizzlies 2 picks in the second round, so still a lot of people here need to keep an eye on.
One early, one late, and second round, whatever you make up to make up on the ticket selling thing with Dalton Connect. Here's who has and will sell tickets for the Memphis Grizzlies. Ladies and gentlemen, John Morant.
That's right. Yeah. You don't need to worry about
that's your
tickets.
needle mover.
That's right. Yeah. You already got the guy that's going to sell tickets.
That's right. And if he's right and he's back, it'll make it all work.
Sure. Yeah. And from all signs, it looks like he will be. And so I think that should be the excitement. And, now you got a center that we'll see what turns out from him. But, it was interesting to see how that played out for the Grizzlies last night.
It was getting slightly uncomfortable to awkward for Dalton Connect, though. But when you get picked by the Lakers, that kind of saves everything.
Well, there were a couple of guys last night. And here, first off, ESPN does a terrible job. Obviously, Woj knows who's going before everybody else does. And, all those people at ESPN. I mean, they hold the camera on a guy. Bets are he's going to be the next guy taken in the draft. I mean, it happened all night last night. And so
it was shoddy last night.
It was. Oh, and also, before the draft even started, when they were introducing all of the players, I think 2 or 3 guys
got 2 hits.
Yeah, well, because the first one wasn't even him. It was the kid from France, and that went 6th. I mean,
that was looking at the camera like what me?
That's not me. And then I think your guy Bub. I think they
Bub
shot.
Carrington.
I think they shot somebody else instead of him. So
because nobody knew who Bub Carrington was.
So it was a mess last night in terms of ESPN.
Bub
Carrington.
Carrington.
But no. So last night, a couple guys that looked very looked like they were stressing out. Dalton Connect definitely one of them. He looked like he was stressing.
I thought Klingon was getting on the stress level.
No, Klingon was extremely stressed out. When they threw it to him at like 5 or 6, and they shot the camera over him, and he's kind of looking around, and he's got this look of total confusion on his face. And then when we knew, we were watching at my house, we knew he was going to be taking 7 because they put the camera on him. They hold a long shot. He looks so upset. He looks so frustrated. He looks up to where the number is, and he goes, 7? And you could tell he said it like a question, like 7? Yeah. And then he kind of collects himself a little bit.
Better than that.
And he goes, and he just starts shaking his head. And then it was announced, 20 seconds after that he was going number 7. He looked stressed. Isaiah Collier, who got his name called very late in the night, he looked stressed out late in the draft. And obviously Kyle Filipowski, who doesn't get his name called at all last night, was very stressed all night that he was not hearing his name. So it was weird. It was an interesting night.
And Stephen A. and Bob Myers wanted to catfight all night. And I couldn't take it.
Well, Brett, I'll be honest. We were flipping back and forth, and I'll be completely honest. I don't know if it was my TV or what. I couldn't hear them on ABC. The audio levels on my ABC broadcast were so off that, I had to turn it up all the way max level, and I could barely hear them. It was very weird.
I don't know that I had that issue.
I did. It was bad. And I'd go over to ESPN. ESPN was fine. I'd go back to ABC, and it was very, very weird. Very weird audio night for my
TV
ABC.
times, isn't it?
It's very weird. And now, round 2, I was very curious to see how it would be done. We're in a studio, and we have like 6 or 7 tables set up.
We're at the kiddie table.
Guys, I don't like this. I don't understand this. I'm not a fan.
This is like the overflow of guests you weren't expecting at Thanksgiving, and you can set it up quickly. And put them over there.
And I'll be honest, some of the guys that they're showing for this second round, I have no idea who they are. I don't know these guys. And so who knows? Not a fan.
It was an interesting night.
It was an interesting night. But I hope other people are more excited than I am for the draft. We'll talk a lot.
I am.
I know
about the pick of Edey.
Sure.
I am. I'm carrying the Edey banner, and I think I hope.
Yeah. Well, and I hope he pans out. I hope he's a great player. I hope we're talking about one day, we've been retiring all these jerseys. I hope one day we're talking about retiring Zach Edey's jersey. I hope that happens. I'm not putting my money on it. But we'll talk a lot about the draft throughout the day. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story. 3:30, we'll talk about the first round last night. We'll talk about the Grizzlies' pick of Zach Edey, maybe some it sounded like, I turned my notifications off, but it sounded like there was a deal in place for the Grizzlies to move up to number 6. So we'll talk about everything that happened in the first round in our next segment at 3:30. 3:45, we'll talk about round 2. Hopefully by 3:45, depending on the pacing of round 2, hopefully we'll be a handful of picks in. 4 o'clock, Brian Geltzeiler from SiriusXM NBA Radio will join us to talk about the NBA, the draft last night, some of the other deals we're seeing in the NBA offseason. 4:30, we'll talk some baseball. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Gary Darby from the Grizzlies Radio and also Ole Miss football will he'll join us to talk Grizzlies and Ole Miss. Brett, a couple days ago we were talking about college football 25 putting out some interesting toughest places to play. Today, top offenses in the game, and Ole Miss coming in at number 13, maybe a little low compared to some of the other teams in front of them, but everyone excited for college football right around the corner. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Summer is here, and it's time to party. 24-foot above-ground pools for $19.99. So many deals right now over at Family Leisure, like all ladders, filter systems, and robotic cleaners, 20% off. Select in-stock patio furniture up to 50% off. Play gyms up to $1,000 off, and patio umbrellas 20% off. Four-person hot tubs only $29.99.99, and make sure you get by Family Leisure for the discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while supplies last. So head over to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Bryant, I'm Brett. We're Sports Time, and we're with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. And all our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Someday, if we retire number 15 for Zach Edey, it won't be 15. Brandon Clark has dibs on it for next year.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I wonder what number Edey will get.
I don't know. Let's put him in number one, Brett. He's number one in everybody's heart. Put him in number one.
Who have been the great number ones in Grizzlies history? Lance Stevenson.
Oh, never mind. Don't put
Kyle
him in number
Anderson.
One. Oh, never mind.
Kennedy Chandler.
Maybe put him in number one.
Antonio Burks.
If it's going to pan out how I think it might, put him in number one. It might go just like all the rest of them have.
But other 15s, Rich Manning and Aaron Williams in Vancouver, in Memphis. Brandon Clark currently, Vince Carter right before that. Great Vince Carter right before that.
Good 15s.
And two big men almost as big as Zach Edey. Cesare Trebansky and Ahmed Haddadi.
All right. Oh, Haddadi. Oh,
Nothing
man,
better
what a
playoff
guy.
night one night. Haddadi with those good minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And the crowd chanting, "Who's your Haddadi?"
That's great. That's
Well,
beautiful.
Great playoff moment. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by the one and only Lexus dealership at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day has got to be the NBA draft last night. Round one in the books. I'll be honest, we'll see how the next couple hours go with round two on day two. Not a fan of it. I was very, kind of caught me off guard last night when we just came to a abrupt stop and said, all right, everybody go home. We'll see you tomorrow.
We really did.
Yeah, not a fan of it, but hey, we'll see what happens. But for last night, the Grizzlies take their guy at number 9, Zach Edey, and it sounds like they wanted to take him there because it sounds like, from all accounts, some of the workouts he had with teams selecting 10, 12, 13, around that same area, that he just looked great in those workouts, and they were worried a team like Utah, which reportedly was one of his best workouts, that maybe they would take him at number 10. So they stuck with number 9, and they went with their guy, Zach Edey. But they tried it. From what it looked like, there was a deal in place, is what it came across like on social media, for the Grizzlies to move up to number 6, flip picks with Charlotte, and they would have ultimately taken Donovan Clingan with that pick, I believe. But that didn't happen, and they stay at 9 and get Zach Edey.
That reporting, no other players, just the pick swap.
Well, that was what was initially. There might have been other stuff in there, but at least what was reported is that Charlotte was moving back to number 9. Grizzlies were coming up to number 6. I'm sure there was more involved than just that. But we'll see what happens with Zach Edey. I hope it pans out. I hope he's a great player. I don't love the pick. Don't love it at 9. But we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But other things in the draft, the French, we talked about that. The French guys talked about that the other day. They really kind of took over the first round. 3 of them taken in the top 10. Rijache gets taken number 1. Alex Sargo's number 2. Saloon, who's a guy that has really come on late in draft talk, he goes number 6. I think there was another French prospect taken later in the draft, so 4 in the first round. Really good night for those guys. And then you want to talk about an early winner, maybe projection. I think it might be the Timberwolves. What they did last night, they go and they trade for Rob Dillingham, who was taken by the Spurs at number 8. I think that's a great pickup. And then late in the draft, they get Terrence Shannon Jr., who was a great player at Illinois. Obviously had some off-court concerns with him, but they've gotten that out of the way. He was found not guilty of all of those charges and is ready to play basketball. I think he's a great player, great prospect. I think if he didn't have that on the side, we would have been talking about him as a higher draft pick in this process.
Do we remember what Castle did to him defensively in the tournament?
Oh, sure. But again, Brett, I'm not gonna let one game dictate.
That's smart.
Dictate a whole player. I think he's great.
Remember how
offensively.
Jaron exited the tournament?
Sure.
His year.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Absolutely. So we'll have to see. But I thought it was a fun night at the draft last night.
My top story, Brian, if you can't teach 7-3, you sure can't teach 7-4. Big man from Purdue was the Grizzlies' whiz kid answer in round 1 last night with the 9th pick. I love it. I want everybody on the record, though, with a single question, with a simple answer. Will it lead to the Western Conference Finals in the next 4 years? Do you think it'll lead to the next year? Do you think the Grizzlies are in the Western Conference Finals over the next 4 years?
No.
I say yes, because who that really falls on is not your number one pick last night. That's not who that falls on.
A trick question. How about that?
Who it falls on, it's not Zach Edey, it's not Desmond Bain, it's not Jaren, it's sure not Luke Kennard. It falls on Ja Morant.
Yep.
Ja Morant still is, and maybe is over the history of this franchise, wherever it's been. He's the face of the team all the time. He's got to be great. He's had 15 months in purgatory. He's got to be great. This doesn't fall to Zach Edey. The future of this team falls to Ja Morant.
Sure does.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story, it's also NBA draft related. A little bit of everything last night. It was a night that we really thought we were going to see a lot of trades within that top 10, and we really didn't see a ton. There were a couple of trades announced before the draft. There were a couple of trades announced later in the draft. There were a couple of trades announced after the draft for today's action. But some of the surprises last night, Ron Holland, a guy that I really liked, gets taken number 5 to the Detroit Pistons, which a wild one. I'll be honest, Brett, love Ron Holland. I would have liked to see him anywhere other than Detroit with what they've got going on.
Makes a young team younger.
Yeah, it absolutely does. We also got the report that Jimmy Butler, not draft related, but Jimmy Butler will play out his last year of his contract before opting out in 2025, which will definitely put him as one of the most sought after, biggest names in free agency. Now, he might work something out and go right back to Miami, but we know there's going to be a whole lot of talk next year and then the following offseason about Jimmy Butler and where could be his next team. And Brett, if he goes to another team, we're talking about another guy. We talked about KD yesterday. Jimmy Butler would be another guy that's starting to get kind of that back of the card and
fill it up
in a lot of teams for Jimmy Butler. Yeah,
been a lot of places. My not top story is a night that a lot of people forget after it comes and goes. It's easy to forget. It's goofball lottery night. It's goofball ping pong ball night.
Yeah, ping pong ball.
Why do we do this? Why do we go through that goofy night? It killed the Grizzlies last night. One spot would have saved the Grizzlies last night from just that luck of the draw after you have this terrible year. What did we not get about the last shall go first? And if you're sorry and a big enough loser to tank your season all year, well, then you got to explain that to your fans.
Sure.
And that doesn't always work out.
No, not at all. It doesn't. So I'm with you. Lottery ball night.
Lottery ball night hurt the Grizzlies last night.
No, it absolutely did. But a fun night nonetheless. But let's go ahead and get to a break. A lot of stuff from last night's first round. Grizzlies take their guy at 9. Some other questionable decisions in the draft. Some surprise picks as well. We're talking everything that happened in the first round of the NBA draft next on Sports Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home in Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
I've got him on the line, rockin', running, Smith, and Ronnie, I hear it's the big Christmas summer event going on now at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat.
That's right, Randy. I've got 2024 Ram 1500 Tradesman Quad Cab 4-wheel drive, $649 a month.
Man, that is awesome. What else you got, Ronnie?
2024 Jeep Gladiator Sport 4-wheel drive, $659 a month.
That's a hot deal on Gladiator Sport. What else you got?
Get super power in a 2023 Charger RT Scat Pack, $698 a month. That's $8,600 off MSRP.
So try it past the rest and come to the best at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat along the pike. Or shop online anytime at GossettMotorCars.net. 5,000 down. Ram RN 194282 MSRP 48,595. Jeep RL 116172 MSRP 51690. Charger PH 612877 MSRP 55110. Price includes all rebates and incentives and excludes PF 695. Payments include PF 695. All exclude tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Dealer stock only.
To shop at Genesis Tires. Lowest interest rates on the market. 0 interest for 5 years with nothing down. The time is running out. We have until this Sunday to do this. How about a $6,000 GIA store for details.
Paid actor portrayal.
Dude, guess how much I pay for $1 million term life insurance policy?
Gotta be at least $150 a month.
Nope. I got coverage through Ethos all online for less than $70 a month and no medical exam. Just answered a few health questions.
That's impressive. I'm shocked you have life insurance.
Wait, don't you? You have a wife and kids. What if something happens to you? With Ethos, you can start your coverage the same day.
Wow, I'm sold.
Get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg in East Memphis Heights. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ready to cook in only 15 minutes with good temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between. Change your at-home cooking experience for life with our unmatched long-neck wood-fired grill flavor that has our customers raving. Get your Big Green Egg and all our accessories at East Memphis Heights on the corner of South Flag Station and Post Road.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Supremacy. Here are your hosts, Brett Stack Sportsworthy and Brian Davis.
Well, it was a fun night with the NBA draft last night. Round 1 in the books. Round 2 going on right now. We're 3 picks in so far in the third round. So Grizzlies right around the corner for their first pick of the second round.
Anything we should be outraged about so far in the second round?
No, I've actually already won a bet for the second round.
Way to go.
We're feeling good.
Good deal.
3-0 on draft bets. Just throwing that out there. You know.
What were your range of picks?
It was a couple of matchups of like who would get picked higher. And so we had Ron Holland taken before Cody Williams, I believe was the bet. And then who else was it? Jared McCain to be taken before Tristan da Silva.
Jared McCain at Duke and they made a big point of his 2.7 million TikTok followers.
He's super TikTok famous, Brett.
Oh, yeah,
you ever checked out his TikToks?
Yeah, that's where I know him from.
Absolutely. Who
TikToks.
doesn't know him from TikTok? So no, it was a fun draft last
You anything
night.
on old Bub Carrington?
No, I didn't have anything on Bub Carrington, which I don't know when. Like, I guess he's always gone by Bub, but I didn't know that he went by Bub until, like, maybe last night, maybe right before last night. I just always knew him as Carlton Carrington. And so I was a little surprised when they said Bub
I knew
Carrington.
him as
I was
neither.
like, oh, well, he did play at Pitt, so I don't blame you for that. Pitt was not
Pitt's in
very
the
good.
ACC, right?
That's bingo. You nailed it. But there were some surprises last night.
Filipowski's been taken in the second round. We thought he would.
Filipowski gets taken. He gets taken by Utah. Utah putting together a nice draft. They got Cody Williams and Isaiah Collier last night. Now they get Filipowski. I don't hate it.
Isaiah Collier
like
was the best player on that USC team that really underachieved.
Yeah, no, that USC team was a struggle. They had a couple of guys that like to take all the shots. Boogie Ellis being one of them. Brett, you know I love Boogie Ellis, but he likes to take a lot of shots. And but yeah, so I mean,
Boogie will be undrafted free agent, right?
yeah, it looks like it. Yes.
That will be a lot of signees tonight and into tomorrow and the weekend.
yeah.
With players having a spot to land and get ready to go to the summer league.
Sure, yeah, and I'm curious, kind of with this change of round 1, round 2 on separate days. I'm curious, how fast those will move, how slow they'll move once the draft is over. If with it not being at midnight when they're trying to call guys, signing them as undrafted free agents, it'll be closer to 6 in the evening, and maybe can get quicker deals done. Who knows, but. We'll see. Well, outside of the Grizzlies last night, and we can maybe get back to Zach Edey in a second. Outside of the Grizzlies, what was kind of the biggest takeaway from the draft for you last night?
To all the people that think college basketball, I don't know anybody proclaiming it dead, but damaged, marred, hard to go forward in portal, NIL, international players, and the draft. I looked up at the end of the night, and out of 30 players drafted in first round, 23 were playing college basketball in February and March.
Yeah, they were. So
news of college basketball's demise is greatly exaggerated.
Oh, it absolutely is, and I think it's only getting better because we talk about a couple years ago, there was a lot of talk of, oh man, is college basketball dying with G League Ignite forming and Overtime Elite forming? Well, now G League Ignite's not going to be a thing anymore. After these guys that got drafted last night and today from G League Ignite, those are going to be the last guys drafted from G League Ignite. OTE, that was kind of trying to be a college rival, has now turned into more of a high school rival. If anything, a lot of those guys end up going and playing college basketball now with NIL being a thing. And so, now it's either going to be go to college or go overseas somewhere. And I think, a bunch more guys are going to come to college. And so I think, going into next year, the year after, I think you're going to see even more college guys that get drafted in the first round, which is definitely huge for college basketball.
Last night, direct beneficiaries of February and March play in college basketball. We know February and the little bit of March helped Reed Shepherd and Rob Dillingham. Stephon Castle, it certainly helped.
Yeah.
Zach Edey, there's no way without that NCAA tournament run he gets to 9.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think you're right about that. Trying to think some other guys. I think Devin Carter you could put in that same category. Dalton Connect is definitely a guy you could say that about. There are definitely guys that helped their stock, certainly, by playing in big-time games late in the season.
Last pick.
Sure, yeah. I think you'd say that as well for him, and I was ecstatic to see him get into the first round.
So we can properly, honestly say that college basketball across as a national product is niche.
Yeah, for sure.
But I really believe, except for NFL and college football, everything now is niche.
Definitely.
There's nothing new about college basketball. Most of the national interest in it comes down to when we get a bracket in our hand.
Sure, of course, yeah.
But if you want to watch it like we do and follow it and keep up with it and enjoy it, it's there November, December, January, February, and of course during Madness month.
Oh yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And so some of those guys, like you said, being in front of that larger audience in late season, regular season games, and then in the tournament can definitely help your draft stock. And we kind of saw a little bit of that last night. We also saw a guy taken last night that averaged 2 points a game in Australia. A.J. Johnson gets taken with the number 23 pick
From the United States.
From the United States. He's part of the Next program in Australia, and gets taken 23rd by the Bucks, which was kind of a head scratcher because I think he definitely would have been in the second round, and I think the Bucks have already picked in the second round, so probably could have had him in round 2 if you wanted to.
But the big news here is Zach Edey, and I'm excited about it. I still have the ultimate faith and trust and confidence in this front office, not just on hits of the past, but also they've had a good plan the whole time. Look, the Grizzlies have been through a hurricane the last 15 months.
Sure.
Not many teams come through that kind of, with everything pointed in a great direction.
Right.
This team can next year.
Oh, yeah.
I think Edey can help. I said it the other day long before I thought he would be drafted by the Grizzlies. He's going to have some box score nights next year, Zach Edey will, that will be impossible to defend the next day.
Sure.
It's going to be 1 point, 2 rebounds, 1 block. 11 minutes.
Sure.
The game didn't fit him that night. It was a track meet that he couldn't play in. It was a track meet that we had no field events.
Sure.
There was no need to have the shot putter out there.
Sure.
But there will be nights that he can help. There will be nights with this, and I think this is probably their ultimate goal and plan. Imagine we know that Jaren Jackson can move a defender a long way from the lane, right?
Yeah.
And that person that's guarding him, when they get out on him out near the three-point line, they're not athletic enough to stay with him.
Sure.
If at the same time Zach Edey's dragging another big somewhere, just because you got to pay attention to him in the same area code,
Sure.
that middle is going to be wide open for Ja to deal.
Sure, yeah. And I don't want to speak for everybody. I certainly don't have many concerns about Zach Edey offensively. I think he can help you offensively, setting hard screens, rolling to the basket,
stick backs,
rebounding, that sort of stuff. I think he can help him. My biggest issue and concern with Zach Edey is defensively and also come playoff
getting
time.
back on defense.
That, and also I don't think he can guard pick and rolls. I think he's going to get lost and is going to be slow to switching. I don't think you can switch him. I think if you stay with your man, I think he's going to be a little a step too slow. And so defensively, I have my concerns. He got a little better when guys stretch him out. I don't think he can guard guys, those long fives that can stretch you out. I don't think he can guard that. And then come playoff time, we've seen so many bigs that, are completely nullified come playoff time, and I fear that Zach Edey might be in that same mold.
Well, for a long time at playoff time, it really got a lot more bump and grind.
Sure, yeah.
Not as much lately.
Yeah.
And that would, I think that would hurt him. Did I read last night that he did not have a single bucket last year in transition at Purdue? Not one.
Zach Edey, I haven't seen that. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. And I've heard some people raise that concern of, last year with that Purdue team, they were very much a get the ball. If you force a turnover, if you get a rebound, slowly bring the ball up court and let's slow it down and set up our offense.
Getting a John Wooden offense.
Yes, and the Grizzlies don't do that. And the Grizzlies are a little faster than that. And so, I've seen some people raise that concern of, how's he going to be able to run with Ja Morant and these guys that, kind of like to get up and down the court. So, we'll see. But I am one that, Brett, if we're saying, I'll ask you this. Zach Edey, realistically, how many minutes per game are you asking for him in season 1?
15 to 18.
Okay, I think that's fair. If he can give you 15 to 18 minutes, I don't think that's a big ask for him. I think that's something he can do, and I think he can be effective. I'm starting to see people, and I mentioned this in hour 1, and I've talked to other people about this. First off, the past 48 hours we've had on our opinion of Zach Edey has been incredible. Not from me and you, Brad. I think we've been pretty solid on ours. But what I'm seeing from people on social media, what I'm
son-in-law
hearing people
effect.
are saying. Yes, it's
People are falling in
crazy.
love with the son-in-law because they have to.
It's crazy. I have heard people today trying to tell you that Zach Edey is going to be your starting center on game 1, and I think that is too big of an ask for him day 1. Maybe he
do
can't
too.
be your starting center. I don't buy it. I really don't.
Remember, I suggested even by February.
Sure. Yeah.
If he's being asked to play 22, 23, and upward minutes, the college pro wall will hit and he will be dead coming out of the All-Star game.
Well, and that's why I hear so many people say is, oh, you look at tournament time or late in the season for Purdue and he's playing 35, 36 minutes a game. That's okay when you're playing 2 games a weekend and then you have a whole week off when you're in the tournament, or you're playing a Wednesday night and a Saturday. But when it comes to NBA and you're playing back-to-backs, you're playing a Tuesday, Wednesday, and then have to turn
Against
around on
men.
a Friday against grown men that are not going to be afraid
No
to
Fairleigh
get
Dickinson
physical
on the
with you.
schedule.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Well, it might be. You got to be careful with that one, Brad.
Yeah.
It's a tricky subject.
And Brian, I think I have been wrong in my long-held hope assessment that whomever the Grizzlies take, I want him to be in the mix for Rookie of the Year.
Sure.
I don't think he will be.
No, I don't think he will either.
If it's a really, really good year for the Grizzlies, he's not going to be that primary.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think he's a guy that's going to be in the Rookie of the Year race.
Here are the Rookie of the Year odds.
Oh,
Ready?
we already have odds. A day, not even 24 hours after the first round.
From betonline.ag
I love
on
that.
Twitter at betonline_AG. Here are the odds.
Okay.
Stephon Castle 4-1. Sarr 5-1.
Wow.
Edey 13-2.
Wow.
Third best.
Wow.
Zakari, help me with the last name.
Rusher Shea.
7-1. Connect Klingon 12-1.
Wow.
Cody Williams, Reed Shepard 14-1.
Wow.
All the way down to Ron Holland 20-1.
Interesting.
Bronny James, he's listed
How about that?
200-1.
Brett, let's put some money on it. Let's do
Let's
it.
don't. I like money.
I do too.
I've done some really dumb things in my life with money,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to add to it with that one.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be anywhere near Rookie of the Year run. And that's crazy to even think about. But I'm sure
I
there's
bought
somebody out
engagement
there.
rings, bunch of them.
Well, Brett, there was somebody that put $500 on Bronny James to go number 1 last night. So there are people
He
that
hates
don't
money.
like money.
That person
and
detests money.
those are going to be the people that go out and bet him to win Rookie of the Year. I mean,
I
there are
bet that
people out
person
there.
asked friends in his friend group,
Well-
why am I always broke?
That's right. And they're going to say, you put
You do-
$500 on Bronny
you do really
James.
dumb things with
Yes,
money.
Very dumb things. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, round 2 is underway, only a couple spots away from the Grizzlies being on the clock. So we'll talk about the picks that have already happened in the second round. Maybe we'll have who the Grizzlies take as well. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Quirky's Barbecue in Cordova.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event, and it's going strong at Gossett Kia on the Pike. Are you ready to ride in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway? We Gossett! 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $34.99 to a signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. And 2024 Kia Telluride LX3, $57 a month, both $39.99 to its signing, all 24-month lease. And get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Rebates and incentives, lease includes PF 695, 650 acquisition fee, EV6, P561, 0964, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG 510, 849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 780, 169, MSRP 21820, plus finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Tigerville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
Everyone loves home improvement. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51 makes it easy. A real hardware store run by 3 generations of a real hardware family where you can get it all. Whether it's repairs, remodeling, or new building, kitchens, bathrooms, tiles, tubs, vanities, sinks, mirrors, lighting, furniture, even door hardware. All the latest designs as well as timeless classics. And if outdoor fun is on your mind, they have the Big Green Egg and Accessories. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51, 8560 Highway 51. Easy home improvement.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Suppliers. Here are your hosts, Brett Stack, Sportsworthy, and Brian Gates.
Well, the second round going on right now. The Grizzlies on deck right now.
As we speak,
the Knicks, their pick is in, but this one's going.
We're not
to
precluded
OKC.
from talking about it and reporting live, are we?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't think so. But we have had a lot of picks already. Some interesting ones. You've got Jonathan Mogbo from San Francisco. He's the first player taken in the second round. Kyle Filipowski, taken by Utah. Tyler Smith from G League Ignite, taken by the Bucks. Tyler Kolek, taken by the Portland Trailblazers. Johnny Furphy to the Spurs. Juan Nunez to the Pacers. And Bobby Klintman goes to the Timberwolves. We'll see who's taken here by the Knicks. And then it'll be the Grizzlies' turn. And I think some fine players still available for the Grizzlies to take at 39.
What do you want there? What do you want in that spot?
I'd love Kevin McCullough. I would not be mad at all if they took Kevin McCullough. I think he'd be a great option. So yeah, I'd be cool with that.
Johnny Furphy got a lot less dynamic after McCullough got hurt.
Yeah, when that was the thing is, Kevin McCullough went down, and that was kind of the guy is, Johnny Furphy's the guy that's going to step up and, play really well.
Never did.
It's going to be that's going to be the guy, and you're right, it never really happened. So, we'll see what he can do with the Spurs, who, have added a pair of guards now with the draft. A Jay Mitchell now taken just now by the Knicks. From UC Santa Barbara. Good player. I think good pickup for the Knicks.
UC Santa Barbara?
The Gauchos.
Very good.
Brett.
Ding, 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 ding. Very good.
Thank you. So I like that pick for the Knicks. I guess that one's going to Oklahoma City in a proposed trade. So now it's time, Brett. Who would you like the Grizzlies to take here with this pick?
P.J. Hall.
P.J. Hall with this pick?
Yes.
Really?
Well, no, he's more. He's later.
I was about to say I thought it was all centered around take him with the last pick.
It is.
Okay.
A guard type.
I think a guard is the way to go here. Justin Edwards still on the board from Kentucky. I wouldn't mind that either.
Frankly, somebody's not going to make the team.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a guy that's probably a two-way, and a guy that is, if he's still around, if they keep him around, will be in South Haven. So maybe a developmental guy.
Real quick before the break, so where would G.G. Jackson had gone in this draft?
He was certainly a lottery guy, I think, in this draft.
Not number one?
I mean, I don't know. If he'd gone to North Carolina, if we had just gone back in time, he never reclassifies, he never decommits, he goes to North Carolina, I think he could have been in the conversation for number one. Being here, being on television pretty much every night.
He goes ahead of Reed Shepherd.
I think, definitely goes ahead of Reed Shepherd. So, yeah, I think he's probably maybe one or two, three maybe in this draft. So, and that's kind of one of the things about reclassifying and wanting to, go to college early, and sometimes it works. Jalen Durant certainly works. Sometimes it doesn't. France all over the place. I mean, great night for France last night. It was almost like the Olympics had already started with all of the French pride going around.
Can they medal? We know who's going to win the gold.
Yeah,
but
they can definitely medal, and I think going forward they're only going to get better. France. If you're talking about just
who would be the
leaders
for silver, bronze?
Oh man, I really don't know.
Canada.
Canada certainly is in there, and Zach Edey's on Team Canada. He'll be a part of the Olympic team, so we'll see him in action. I think Canada's right there. Some of the other team, maybe Spain is always a tough team in there. I don't know what their team looks like this year, but I definitely think France right in there, and only getting better. I think,
and then the Baltics,
sure,
Serbia,
certainly,
like
a team like that. But I think going forward, if you're just talking about international teams, I think France is definitely a team to keep an eye on going forward because there is plenty of talent over there, and I think we'll only get better. So we'll see what the Grizzlies do with this pick. I haven't seen any notifications or anything on where they're going. So maybe when we come back, to start hour two, we'll know who the Grizzlies have drafted. But we'll also be talking a lot of NBA with Brian Geltzeiler from SiriusXM NBA Radio. He joins us next.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Jason's Deli. When you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking the bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Whopper in Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
It's time to ride during the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event. Check out 43 MPG Highway in a new 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. $17,935 or $249 a month. Need extra room for your vacation? Let Gossett make it happen with 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander. $30,490 or $449 per month. And go for miles and miles with 420 total range in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. $599 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Military rebate, $500 loyalty rebate.
Mirage Outlander 84 months. Mirage RHO 10934. MSRP 18435. Outlander RZO 55981. MSRP 31490. PHEV RZO 35245. MSRP 48065. Includes 1095 acquisition fee. Sale price includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes processing fee of $695. Lease terms includes processing fee of $695. 15 cents per mile excess wear and tear. With approved credit, see dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
It's time to have a good time at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Olive Branch and Collierville. Come by for half-price happy hour 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with domestic drafts and $3 snacks. Then try one of Mugshots 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish in 12 minutes and it's free. Plus, you get a free shirt. Mugshots in Olive Branch, 6400 Goodman Road, and Mugshots in Collierville, 656 West Poplar. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
July 4th doorbusters are happening now at Lowe's. For a limited time only, save $70 on a Charbroil 4-burner Performance Series gas grill. Was $249, now $179. And get 50% off Harbor Breeze 48-foot LED outdoor string lights to brighten up your patio for summer. Shop these deals before they're gone, because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 7/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun 2770 Witten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with your best. Top Gun Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Wrapping up this car fire. This thing burnt to a crisp over here on 40 eastbound before you get to Watkins, right here at the 101 connector on 40 going eastbound. There's still a lot of rubbernecking going on as folks drive by this car fire. It's picked up a little bit more volume down through South Haven, south of Memphis on 55 all the way down into DeSoto County. Havenly Showers is your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub to curbless shower conversion. Check out havenlyshowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. We're about to talk some NBA with Brian Geltzeiler from SiriusXM NBA Radio. But we know now who the Grizzlies have taken with their first pick in the second round. Jalen Wells, a wing from Washington State, a 42% three-point shooter last year at Washington State. Late bloomer, spent a couple years at D2 before transferring to Washington State. We'll see a little bit later what the Grizzlies do with their second pick, but I like this pick for the Grizzlies that they just selected. But joining us now to talk the NBA, it's been very busy over these last couple of days. Brian Geltzeiler joins us now, like I said, from SiriusXM NBA Radio. Brian, thanks so much for joining us. What'd you think of the NBA draft last night?
Well, it's fun. I mean, listen, this is a different kind of draft because it's just you don't have really any star power in it. I mean, I'd be surprised if we see a star come out of this draft. There's certainly some useful players, but it's one of those drafts where it's just hard, and you're going to see a lot of mistakes. And there's a big group of players that are kind of in the same level. So who distinguishes themselves becomes a little bit more of a guessing game. You know, teams were more happier and really readily filled needs in this draft more than just doing a best player available thing.
Right.
Because in this kind of draft, you know, you go best player available, you're probably better off filling a need because it's hard to, there's not a lot of margins between who's good and who isn't, which made these second round picks and the later first a tad more valuable just because of the less financial commitment. This was one of those odd years where having a higher pick was actually somewhat of a burden because you were stuck paying a guy maybe more than you would have wanted to for the kind of player that you're drafting. So it was a weird year. The format's a little different. Second round going on right now as we speak. They didn't knock it all off in one night. And I actually think that's going to be a good trend for the future. Certainly allowed for more time to fire out trades today, and we saw a couple today. So I think all in all, that format's a good format. But next year, with Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, we're going to have a much more exciting draft.
Brian, who got a player last night in the first round that can help them next year? Help them next year and be a winning team next year, not just a guy that will be at the rookie game at the All-Star break, but who can really contribute to a good team next year?
Give me a handful of guys. First of all, let's start with Dalton Knecht, who ended up. The Lakers need shooting, and he may have been one of the best shooters in this draft. And for the life of me, having a kid drop and not taking a kid sooner when he could really do very well for you because he's 23 years old, I find to be patently absurd. So I think that's where I thought that the Lakers got lucky, but, sometimes being lucky is being good, and they swept up the guy that dropped to them. I like what the Heat and the Sixers did in the middle of the round, although I would have minded either of those teams taking Knecht. Like Jared McCain a lot. I think for Philly, they got a guy that they could potentially pair with Maxey in the backcourt for the long term. McCain's he's got a strong lower body. He defends well and is just an old school type of point guard, but can also shoot it. And listen, Miami with Khalil Ware, Bam Adebayo just got signed to an enormous extension. And I think the days of playing Bam exclusively at the 5 are over. Ware's a 40% three-point shooter. He's also one of these pogo stick types of centers. Now, listen, he's skinny, and he's going to get knocked around a little bit early on, but he can block shots on defense, step out and hit threes on offense. It's going to allow Bam more time at the 4, more time to play some point forward. So I like what they did, too. I think that's interesting. Those three teams kind of in the middle of the round. What the Spurs did with Stephon Castle, I think is a good thing. I think helps them a lot. I also think the Thunder did well. The Thunder are patient. Topic, who they draft, the point guard they drafted at 12, they're just going to stash him for a year. He's got a torn ACL anyway, and Dylan Jones from Weber State can come and help them immediately. So they're very good at doing that. And then I want to give a shout out to one other team, the Orlando Magic. I like Tristan Da Silva a lot from Colorado. He makes their rotation next year. He's a really versatile guy. He can shoot it. He can guard. He fits the NBA game perfectly. Surprised that he stuck till 18.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about what the Grizzlies did last night with Zach Edey. It seems like a lot of people are split on this pick. Some people like the fit and like the pick. Others are not big fans of it. What did you make of the Grizzlies taking Zach Edey at number 9?
First of all, the Grizzlies are one of these teams that went for need because they weren't sure that best player available was going to make their rotation. And they knew they needed a big guy in the middle. That was going to be important. Obviously they wanted Donovan Clingan. We're not able to trade up and get him, and he went 2 picks in front of them. Edey's not a bad consolation prize. Now, listen, I understand the criticism. John Morant's your best offensive player. He plays 90 miles an hour with his hair on fire and does it in transition. Zach Edey scored a grand total last year in his senior year as the National Player of the Year for the Purdue Boilermakers of 0 points in transition. He is not a transition player. However, the Grizzlies, with the group that they have, they're not expecting to be out of the playoffs again, nor should they, and they would like to advance in the playoffs. The lifeblood of playoff offense, of effective and efficient playoff offense, is easy baskets. Well, how do we get our easy baskets? Well, we can get them in transition with layups. We also can get them in the low post, in the half court, going to a big guy that's tough to keep away from the rim and that scores well at the rim. Memphis needs Zach Edey because that's what he does. Hiding him on defense, going to be a little bit of a challenge. When Zach Edey is on the floor, you have no choice but to play drop coverage because he's not going to be able to switch out on guys on the perimeter. Okay, the Grizzlies will give up open three-point shots with Zach Edey on the floor. It is absolutely a liability. However, what Zach Edey does well on the defensive end of the floor is he's an excellent rebounder. He's a mountain of a man. He's hard to get around. He's got good instincts going for the ball. He understands space. He understands how to use that big body of his. He's a really smart, highly skilled player with physicality. There's so many good things about him. He's just not quick. A guy his size is not going to move a lot. He's not Boban Marjanovic. That's not who he is. He's much more effective than that. He's a major, major low post threat in a league that's kind of gotten away from it. And I think you'll see Memphis. You don't bring Zach Edey in unless you're looking to use him a lot in the low post. But I think watch what happens with him over time. They're going to use him in some pick and pop stuff in the mid-range and eventually may become a three-point shooter because he does have that kind of touch. He's a really good shooter, and it's a matter – Purdue never stretched his range because they never had to. In the NBA, they'll stretch his range a little bit, and you'll find that he can shoot the ball. All in all, when you look at who he's going to play with and play for, with Jaren Jackson being there and Brandon Clark being back from injury, he's actually quite the good complement to those guys because he has a different skill set than them. So all in all, I think it was a smart pick for the Grizzlies. I will not call it a reach at 9 because this was the type of draft. If you see a guy that fills a need that you want, you don't wait, you don't trade down. This is a draft, you just go get him. So I don't think the Grizzlies did a bad job here at all. He doesn't come without flaws. He has his flaws. But the role that they need him to fill is going to be a really important one, and it's going to become increasingly important as they get deeper into the season and into the playoffs.
Our guest is Brian Geltziler from he's host on NBA Sirius XM Radio on all things NBA draft, and he's on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Brian, I've been saying for 2 years about Zach Edey. Somebody get with him and teach him Kareem Skyhook.
Listen, it'd be great if he could learn it. But here's the other thing. He doesn't have to, Brett. And the reason he doesn't have to is because he's so darn big when he turns around for his turnaround jumper. Short of Victor Wembanyama, there's not a guy in the league that can block the shot.
Yeah.
He's going to shoot over everybody. So to me, with Zach Edey, the thing I like the most about him in the post is his moves are all quick moves. One of the big mistakes that players make in the low post is they'll get a low post catch, and they'll go into 2, 3, 4 dribbles waiting to make their move. When you do that, you allow the defense to load up on you, and all of a sudden the defense can force your hand. The defense can make you pass. The defense can leave you in an isolation spot where all of a sudden you've got shoved out a little bit. You make a catch in the post and make a quick move with no more than 2 dribbles and go, that's going to force the defense's hand instead of the other way around. Zach Edey does that. And quick and Zach Edey are not two things you necessarily put together, but he does make a quick move when he catches in the post. And he's got this little baby hook turnaround that's deadly for him, that he blocks the ball with his body. You can't really get to it. And the other thing about him, which is interesting, is that he's hard to keep off the offensive glass. If he misses, he's going to be right there on top of it doing a straight line for the ball. You're going to have a hard time keeping him out. So, again, the sky hook would be certainly something interesting for him. I don't even know if he needs it because of his size. And listen, you're going to see he's a huge guy, and he's going to look big on an NBA court, but he is such a skilled offensive player that skill set is something that's going to really help the Grizzlies, assuming they're in next year's playoffs.
How big a gamble was this pick for Zach Kleiman?
I don't think it was a big gamble at all in this draft. I think listen, you look at certain picks and say they're a gamble. Well, what is the alternative? What really was the alternative here? All right, the kid that went 10, Cody Williams to Colorado, is going to be a good 3D win. Good player. And Utah did well getting him. It would have been nice for the Grizzlies to have him. Sure, but were the Grizzlies going to find enough time for him on this team with the group that they have and what they've assembled? I'm not sure. I don't know that they were going to find enough time for him. Zach Edey's going to get playing time, and you need Zach Edey in a big way. So I'm kind of okay with that. I don't think it was as big a risk as people are making it out to be. Listen, 2 years ago, or last year, I should say, if this guy had come out, people were saying he wasn't going to be drafted. Now he ends up being a top 10 pick. Maybe he's not in most other drafts. He's not a top 10 pick. He's certainly not a guy that should go undrafted. So I think in this draft, filling a need with a guy that does have an elite skill on the offensive floor is not this enormous risk for Zach Kleiman. And I think if anybody's making it out to be that locally, I think it's a mischaracterization. I think it was a solid, safe pick that filled a need with a guy that can score on an NBA level and is very, very hard to guard. Listen, there's defensive issues. There's going to be defensive issues. When teams go small, Jackson's going to play the 5. However, when teams don't go small and you have to meet a team with some major size, you can put Edie and Jackson on the floor next to each other and know that you're more than big enough.
Yeah. Talking to Brian Geltzeiler. He joins us from SiriusXM NBA Radio. Brian, what have you made of what the Knicks have done over the last couple of days? Apart from the draft, they had Mikal Bridges in a trade with the Nets. They announced yesterday they're bringing back OG Anunoby on a 5-year, $212.5 million deal. What do you make of what the Knicks are doing getting ready for next season?
Printing Eastern Conference Finals playoff tickets, aren't they?
That's what everybody seems to be saying. So this is funny, guys. You know, I have a lot of Knicks fans in my life, close friends and family. No one wanted to talk to me for the last 48 hours about the Knicks because I'm not going to tell you the Knicks did the greatest thing in the world here. Just because I'll say this. I like Mikal Bridges. He's a very good player, and he's certainly going to help them. They certainly got better. But is this a championship caliber roster as currently constituted? I don't know. To me, when you're going to trade 4 unprotected first-round picks and a lightly protected pick swap, can you please get an elite shot creation guy?
An all-star.
Somebody, right? And I'm not even getting hung up on the all-star thing. And you're right. A guy that's been an all-star, but somebody that has elite shot creation skills. This guy doesn't have those. He's an excellent 3-and-D wing, and he's probably a little bit more than that because he attacks closeouts. He's got a good mid-range game. He's very durable. Like, you could say so many good things about Bridges. He's a really good player, and he helps them, and they're better. But are you as good as Boston? You're probably not as good as Boston right now, and you left yourself without any other moves to make. The Knicks are kind of done. The other thing that comes at the expense of this that no one's really talking about, Isaiah Hartenstein played his heart out for this team, no pun intended, for the entire season. He played more minutes at center than anybody they had, and he played great on both ends of the floor. You can't bring him back now. If McBride goes in the deal, they're capped at the second apron. If McBride doesn't go in the deal, they're capped at the first apron. Either way, a team like OKC with cap space, if they want Hartenstein, they're going to outbid the Knicks for him. If Orlando wants Hartenstein, they're going to outbid the Knicks for him. And Hartenstein's a guy that at the kinds of numbers you're looking at for him and the production he gave the Knicks, he's easy to get for the Knicks. The Knicks, they are not in a position to give him any kind of meaningful raise after bringing on Bridges in this way and the Anunoby contract. I like the Anunoby contract. You can't trade R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel quickly for this guy and not bring him back. But the thing is, the Knicks did get burned a little bit. What the Knicks figured when they traded for Anunoby, all right, if it costs us $4 at 140, we'll be okay with that. All right? They ended up at $5 at 212.5. And it's largely based on the fact that OG Anunoby, who I have a good authority, was complaining 5 games into his Knicks tenure about not getting enough touches, and then turned around in Game 2 of the Indiana series, scored 28 points in 2.5 quarters before he came up lame, and said, see, I should be getting the touches, and I'm an elite shot creator, and you're going to pay me like that. And that because the Knicks gave up so much for him, they were in a spot that they had to. So the Knicks kind of got trapped here salary-wise. And again, if you think this team is one of the best teams in the league and win a championship, then you did a good job. I just don't know that this team is that. I think it's a really good team, but to me, if Milwaukee plays at a high, Lillard gets back to the level that he's been at historically in his career, Milwaukee's probably still better too. Philly, let's see what they do. Philly could be better also. Like, that's the part of the problem here for the Knicks. It's the Villanova guys being together is a really nice story. Let's not get carried away. They won 7 and 8 years ago in college. Like, that's going to, this is, and people are using words like, oh, winning culture. They brought winners in. Yeah, I get Mikal Bridges was on a 31-win team last year. I mean, how much of a winner is he at this point? Like, and I'm not, again, he's a really good player, but we're getting, everybody in New York's getting way carried away with this whole Villanova feel-good story. I don't know that it's going to translate into what they think it's going to translate into, because at this stage of the game, they haven't gotten out of the second round with this group. Now, can Bridges get you out of the second round? Maybe. And maybe it's a conference final that they get to, which would be successful because it'd be further than they got this year. However, okay, what's the goal? The goal is to win an NBA championship. And right now, Jason Tatum's 26 and Jaylen Brown's 27. Now, the one thing I'll cut the Knicks a break on, where the other guys that were available, whether it's a Paul George, even a Jimmy Butler, who are elite shot creators, especially Paul George. You would have Paul George at the age of 34, 4 years at max money. And does that make sense? Maybe it doesn't make sense. And Bridges' timeline does match up with the timeline of their core right now. But again, I think for the most part, they're just about done here when it comes to any kind of significant trade and adding a major player. They'll add some things around the margins, but that's it. And I don't know if this version of done and how long they've taken to build it is enough to make them the contender that they believe they are.
Brian, I love when you joust with the Knicks fans on Twitter, with the Knicks fan stating how close they are to catching Boston and that Boston's not that far ahead of them.
Well, because here's the thing, all right? And listen, Bill Simmons at the Ringer, who I'm an enormous fan of him and his work, okay? He calls Kristaps Porzingis the Celtics superpower, okay? They're superpower, and he's right. They're very good without Porzingis. They're great with Porzingis. They're one of the better teams we've seen in the league in the last 5-6 years, since the 2018 Warriors. They're that good. They went 80-21 this year. They're no joke. Porzingis makes them special. How does sacrificing Hartenstein and all this make you be able to match up with Porzingis in a playoff series? I'll answer that question. It doesn't. And whoever they're going to go get, bargain basement-wise, isn't going to either. And ultimately, you have to be able to match up big in the East. You're going to need to be able to deal with Joel Embiid, Giannis, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis across the front line with Milwaukee. You're going to have to be big. You have to be big. Porzingis with the Celtics. And you're relying, and I love Mitchell Robinson, and I don't think the Knicks should trade Mitchell Robinson because he's one of the few guys in the league that can guard a Joel Embiid or a Nikola Jokic because he's big enough and athletic enough. Played 31 games last year, all right, and really couldn't make it through the playoffs. He played one game in the second round and dragged an ankle around like a warrior guarding Embiid in the first round. But this is who they're counting on to be able to be their big guy to match up with Porzingis. It's not just matching up with Tatum and Brown against Boston. That's what makes them so special. And the thing is, what a lot of the Knicks fans forget is that Jalen Brunson is a wonderful offensive player, one of the best in the league. He was on my MVP ballot. I voted for him first team All-NBA. He's an amazing and a gifted offensive player and a wonderful leader. Here's what he isn't: a good defensive player. And they have to hide him whenever he's on the floor. And it's almost impossible to hide him against Boston. And that's your problem now because you still don't really match up with Boston as well as Knicks fans think. Matching up with Tatum and Brown when they have White, Holiday, and Porzingis as their other three starters is not where it ends with matching up with Boston. That's only where it starts.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on with that. But it's been kind of fun listening to all the Knicks fans over these last 48 hours and how they're going to be the NBA champs next year with what they've
They won't talk
done.
to me. Like, people in my life won't talk to me. I have friends that tuned me out. My own brother tuned me out. Don't want to hear it. Okay, they all. Everybody thinks that this is the greatest thing they ever could have done, and that me telling them that I don't think it is. I'm the Grinch that stole Christmas.
You've been a Knicks season ticket holder in your life, haven't you?
I have never been a Knicks season ticket holder. My father was a longtime Rangers season ticket holder.
Gotcha.
But I was raised as a Knicks fan.
Right.
And my children are Knicks fans. Okay, my son is a huge Knicks fan. Okay, he came in the bedroom the other night and started throwing things around in a rage, saying they give up all their draft picks, their future's over. Well, this isn't good enough. And you know what? He's got it right. The only one in my life that a Knicks fan's got it right, my 14-year-old son.
I raised him right, I guess.
I'm trying.
Well, Brian, thanks so much for joining us. Always a lot of fun. Let's do this again soon.
I would love to, guys. You take care. Enjoy your rest of your summer and have a great 4th.
Thanks, Brian.
You got it, Brian. Brian Geltzeiler with us from NBA Sirius XM Radio, and just one of the best NBA guests we have. And he's been very busy. I know he's ready for some rest. I didn't want to get to the Hasheem Edey comparisons because I knew what his answer is going to be. It's not apropos.
Sure. Yeah, and you're seeing a lot of that, and I don't see the comparison between the two. I'll be honest. I was not even watching basketball when the Beat got drafted. It was like
he almost made me want to quit watching.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a year before I really started like paying attention to college basketball outside of the Tigers and the Grizzlies. So like I could never have that comparison, but like I am seeing a lot of that, and I just don't think it's anywhere close. Like I do think Zach Edey is a very talented player. He was an unbelievable player at Purdue, and just like Brian Gelsiler was saying just a second ago, I mean, I think that he can fill a need, and I think he can give them some, but he comes with his flaws, and I'm concerned about those flaws.
Hashim's bona fides weren't close to what Edey.
Not at all.
The player of the year stats, I saw one wise guy last night on Twitter said, okay, for all the people wanting to compare, here's two big things that Zach Edey can do that Hashim couldn't do. He can catch the ball, and he can run.
Yeah, both those are important things, I think.
Very critical.
Yeah.
Very, very, very critical. Brian mentioned happy 4th, and everyone at All-Star Chevrolet, they want to wish all our listeners a very happy 4th as we celebrate our country's Independence Day. Head down to Olive Branch where you can test drive all the vehicles I'm getting ready to talk about, every single one of them on the lot at All-Star. First exit into Mississippi. You take the exit off Highway 78 to Kraft Goodman Road, you're there where all the new Silverados are. Some marked 12% off. It's a buyer's market. Financing as low as 1.9. No payments for 90 days on Silverados, Equinox, Trailblazers, and much, much more. Nothing beats family trips in a new Tahoe. No matter what pre-owned you're looking for, you can find it at All-Star and Olive Branch during the All-American pre-owned sale. All the Jeeps, all the Ram trucks, a 4Runner, even a Ram ProMaster cargo van, all in Olive Branch, again, where you can test drive every one. An instant extra $500 bonus back for graduates, military, first responders, college students, healthcare workers, teachers, everybody getting ready to go back to school this fall. You get an extra $500 instantly. Bring All-Star any vehicle you want to sell and get a check today. All at Olive Branch where you can test drive every one of them. Again, happy 4th of July as we celebrate our great country's Independence Day. Don't miss All-Star Chevy's All-American sale in Olive Branch. Go to allstarautogroup.com for more information.
Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. I want to talk some baseball, but we do have some things coming out of the NBA draft, Bronny James related, that I want to talk about. We also mentioned the Grizzlies pick.
Should we even go to break with the Bronny James news? Should we do people like that, or should we just give it to them now? What do you think, Brian? This is a tough decision. Maybe we got to stay on schedule, but big breaking Bronny James news.
Man, such breaking news for Bronny James. May play in a different country next year, Brett.
We leave people hanging like that.
Leave people hanging. We'll
Stay
talk
with
about
us.
it on the other side. You're listening to Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Buster's Butcher at 199 South Highland Street in Memphis. We're a full-service butcher shop offering a curated selection of quality meats, cheeses, prepared foods, and more. At Buster's, our skilled butchers are also experienced chefs. They'll be delighted to guide you on selecting, preparing, and cooking our fine selection of products. We're like nothing else you can find in Memphis. Learn more at bustersbutcher.com and come see why every cut counts at Buster's Butcher.
Hi, this is Eric Hasseltine telling you to hurry. Hurry to Genesis Diamonds right now. The clock is ticking on Genesis Diamonds' amazing finance offer. You have until Sunday to take advantage of the hottest offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing. You can get that stunning designer engagement ring starting as low as $67 a month, or a 3-carat lab-grown center diamond just $99 a month. It's the smartest, fastest, and best way to buy. But hurry, this incredible offer ends this weekend and will not be extended. Only at Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
With Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal, you can get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin with small seasoned potatoes.
And with all that for just $3, it really is a proper breakfast, wouldn't you say? Huh? With a light and fluffy toasted English muffin and crispy seasoned potatoes. Go on, Catherine, give it a go.
Okay. Jolly good morning.
Ah, close, love. Grab a proper breakfast with Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal for a limited time.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Select request English muffin deal. Discount. Not all products are comparable. See all regular price. Price of Alaska and Hawaii.
All 650 acquisition fee, Telluride RG 510849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 780 169, MSRP 21820. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Hey Jeff, I hear you've got the Kia Summer Sticker Sales event going on right now at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Give me some scoop.
Randy, the scoop is I'm ready to put you in a new Kia for less. 2024 Kia Forte LXS 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month. $34.99 do it signing. How about a 2024 Kia Telluride LX 357 a month? $39.99 do it signing, 24-month lease.
Plus 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9. And every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah, or online anytime. KiaMountMoriah.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We've been in pretty good shape in the last hour. So as far as serious wrecks go, TDOT's out here with a couple of stalled vehicles. Traffic's on the increase now. 240 getting on to 385 Billmore Parkway. Hadn't been that bad today. We're keeping an eye on it over here on 240 East up by Poplar. We expect that to get a little bit busier probably in the next 15, 20 minutes. Havenly Showers is your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub to curbless shower conversion. Check out havenlyshowers.com for more information. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
All right, Brett. Well, we're going to talk some Major League Baseball. We didn't talk baseball yesterday because of all of the noise around round one. But we're going to talk it today, but I did want to get this out here. First off, Jalen Wells, the pick for the Grizzlies at number 39. I like the pick. A guy that started out at D2, has been a late bloomer, was at Washington State last year, 42% three-point shooter. A year ago, 44% three-point shooter. 2 years ago at a D2 spot. So certainly a guy that maybe you can try to develop, get something out of him. Probably be a G League guy to start off. Certainly will be a G League guy to start off. But, Brett, the biggest of big news.
You buried the lead.
Yes, I did. The biggest of big news.
It was in radio suspense.
It was. Thank you. I'm a pro, Brett. Far from it. On the broadcast for the second round of the draft, Bob Myers on the desk says Rich Paul is telling teams to not take Bronny James and threatening that Bronny will go play in Australia next season if they take him.
Including the Lakers and Rob Pelinka?
I don't think that includes the Lakers,
Okay.
if I had to bet. He didn't say. Now, I've since gone, and I saw this while we were talking to Brian Geltzeiler, but since the break, I went and listened to the clip, and they immediately asked him, does that include the Lakers? And he says, I can't confirm which teams he told that to, but he is telling multiple teams don't trade him. So my guess is...
Who was knocking the door down to take him?
Who knows? But that idea that I've heard people say of go out there and, as Johnny Radio has said the past 2 days, hold him hostage, which I told him, I don't know if we should really be saying that we're holding an 18, 19-year-old kid hostage, but, that kind of take him and see,
I see the imagery.
Sure, Bron says he wants to play with his son. We'll see how bad he wants to play with his son. But now Rich Paul's going out and telling those teams, is what I'm guessing, don't take him. If you want to get smart and take Bronny, he'll go play in Australia. I think if the Lakers say we want to take him, he'll be a Laker next year. He's not going to Australia instead of playing with his father in the LA Lakers.
Has he done anything to be this demanding?
No. He has the last name James. That's what he's done. And I like Bronny. I mean, I think he could be developed into a good player, but no, he has not done much to do.
So the Lakers are going to take him.
The Lakers are going to take him, and we're getting close to that pick.
Sure.
We're at 47 right now.
They're 52?
50. What? 55.
Okay,
So
thank you.
we're getting close to that pick, and we'll see if Bronny James. Do you think Bronny? I haven't seen everybody there. Do we think Bronny's in the room? Do you think he's got a table in the studio so that he can go up there and put his Lakers hat on and get that first feeling of being in a Lakers hat?
He's got a pool and a patio area in Beverly Hills that make that little kid table room look bad.
I think he's got
worse
plenty
than it already
of,
looks.
I think he's got plenty of Lakers gear in his closet that he can throw on if he.
I mean,
gets
it
picked by
looks
them.
like they carved out the old NHL studio corner.
That's right. Yeah, it does. It's strange, but whatever. It's fine, I guess. Major League Baseball. Weird day today. Usually Thursdays we get a lot of day games, but usually a lot of them start at 11, noon. Today we get a handful of day games, but the first one started at like 2:40, which I thought was very strange.
Yeah, all later.
But that's fine.
If you have the Twins in the 13-run pool, you're looking good.
Good
you don't
day
want them to
for
score
you.
anymore.
And I don't know what it closed at. I need to find what it closed at. Johnny Radio was running around earlier saying, "Did you see how much the Braves were favored against the White Sox?" And I said, "No, what was it?" And he said it was like minus 400 last time I lost.
Oh, my.
Holy cow. They're down right now. I don't think it'll be an issue. We talked so much about this White Sox team, but the Braves are down right now, 1-0 against the White Sox.
I'll tell them myself. I had the White Sox privately on no-hitter alert today with Chris Sale on the Braves.
Brett, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I thought that might be one.
Yeah.
We could go with.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good
so much
bet.
for that.
Last night they get shut
3
out.
hits for the South
Good for them. I mean, last night they get shut out
and a run.
Gavin Stone for the Dodgers last night goes 9 innings against the White Sox. Gavin Stone, I mean, fine pitcher, but Chris Sale's better pitcher, so I think you were on the right thought. To maybe try to throw that out there. But no, already up 1-0. I'm looking at ESPN. The Braves closed minus 315 on ESPN Bet.
That's healthy.
That's a big time number. But right now, top of the sixth.
Am I minus
White Sox
315 to
1-0.
make it to 6 o'clock?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
sure. I think you're
Hope
at least
so.
minus 315. I hope
happens,
so.
Turn the Zoom off.
Sure. Oh, yeah, definitely turn the Zoom off. Cubs and Giants, another game going on right now. Cubs jumped out to a 3-0 lead with 3 runs in the third inning. Gave them right back in the sixth inning. Now tied
Cubs
up
officially in the
3-3.
schneid?
Oh, certainly.
Rough patch, leaking oil?
I think we could have said that when a couple weeks ago when the Cardinals went up there and we're playing them.
I thought Craig Counsell. I thought Doogie Howser was going to fix it
That's
all.
right. He was the answer, Brett. Remember
You
all
won
the,
so much in Milwaukee.
Exactly. And remember all the preseason buzz of, get ready. The Cubs are going to be that team that surprises everybody. And, they're going to be a playoff team and can make a run. Not.
We could be asking this about the Cardinals after game 162. How good are they?
I feel like we ask that question every day to ourselves with the Cardinals.
Therein lies the answer.
Sure. They're not very good.
Not very good. I don't know the strong suit. Do you?
No. Shortstop,
defensively?
Maybe?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
If you hand it to Helsley.
Oh, yeah. Closing pitching is the strong part of this team. I mean, that's the best quality.
If you hand it to him to start the
Yes.
ninth, it's real strong. I do know
You
that.
feel really good. If you have Ryan Helsley on the mound in the ninth inning, you feel really good that you're going to win that game. That's about it.
You got a lot to do to get to that point.
Well, that's exactly right. It's a long way to the ninth inning.
Cardinals are at least save their season.
Sure. I mean, you look at this record right now, 41-38, Brad. I think that's much better than some people probably thought they would be before the season started, and where some people thought they would be, after kind of a rough start to the year. So I think it's not been a bad season for the Cardinals.
A lot of people say it's lowering the bar when we talk about for Coach Penny Hardaway. Next year, I'm not expecting nobody should put Final Four on him.
No.
Nobody should put Elite Eight on him.
No.
I don't think anybody should put Sweet 16 on him.
No.
But go to the tournament.
Sure.
Okay, we got that. For Ollie Marmol, and there's not anybody expecting World Series.
No.
But he needs to be one of those playoff teams.
Sure.
That's his low Penny Hardaway bar of just getting in the tournament, isn't it?
Be a wild card team. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Now that 2 out of 3, you could blink and it'll feel like a team in Dayton.
Sure. Yes, but that's fine. I think you're saying, I think you go into it saying just get to the playoffs, and I think you're happy with that.
And then he's back for 2025, but you got to make some magic.
And that's the thing. I mean, I think that's where you talk about with any coach. If you set those expectations at make the playoffs, make the tournament, make whatever, if they do that, then going into the next season you expect more. Then it's, if it's the NCAA tournament, it's win a game in the NCAA tournament. If it's the getting to the wild card, and let's say Cardinals get to the wild card this year and they get swept. All right, go win a game in the wild card. Go win the wild card next year. I mean, that's when you
get to the DS.
Exactly. That's when it's not moving the goalposts. It's just those expectations raise as you have that success. And so I think I think that's fair to say for Ollie Marmol and this Cardinals team.
Bryant, big judgment or big verdict today. Jury rules. NFL violated antitrust laws.
How about that?
In the Sunday ticket case, $4.7 billion in damages, 2.4 million residential subscribers, and 48,000 businesses who paid for the package of out-of-market games from 2011 through 2022. I was in every year, one of those years.
How about that?
I'm going to get more than $1.71 back.
You are, Brett.
What am I going to do with all that money?
What's a you'd be happy with? If you get a check in the mail, what's the number that you're happy with from the NFL?
Call it now. 4 digits, like 10.00.
Okay, we're not talking 1000.
No.
Point
$10.
00. Okay, $10.
$10.
Are you fine with that?
$10 north. I'm very pleased.
Go get you a coffee from Starbucks with that. I mean,
never bought coffee in my life.
Man,
never bought a sip.
Go buy you.
I bought
some
bought
Coke.
hot chocolate at Starbucks.
They get
at the Starbucks
good,
across the street from FedEx Forum on a
hot
really cold night
chocolate.
before a Grizzlies
I
game.
believe it. Good hot chocolate. Go buy yourself a couple Cokes, Brett, with that. It's perfect.
A lot of whipped cream at Starbucks with the hot chocolate. That's what I'm really buying.
Brett, a lot of whipped cream with all of their drinks at
is it?
Starbucks. Oh yeah, you get a hot drink, you get a lot of.
I've never had coffee, Bryant.
Wow, I drink one every morning when I come in here, Brett. Got it.
Yeah,
especially
well, you know my coffee.
Well,
it's
sure,
Coca-Cola.
and I don't drink Coca-Cola or caffeinated sodas. But I also have to deal with Johnny Radio. I got to have some coffee to deal with Johnny Radio. He's a handful. So.
Might send me to Starbucks.
He may, Brett, it honestly might. You never know.
Now, the mountain of paperwork I might have to fill out to get my $10, I know I'll go to heck with it.
Sure.
My ED deal set in, that'll be the end of that.
Yes. I've been there before.
If it's just kind of real clean and I get my $10, I look forward to it.
My favorite one is...
I'm not counting on it.
No.
I don't think I should go borrow money against this.
No, probably not. But my favorite is, Brett, and I'll get them every once in a while in the emails where it's like, fill out this survey.
Yeah.
And you'll get a $10 Amazon gift card or something like that. And I'm always like, oh, that's easy. Like a survey? Like I'm thinking like a 2-minute survey, easy. And then it's like a 30-minute survey that is asking the same question 15 times. And I end up, okay, you can have your $10 Amazon gift card. I can't do this anymore.
Have you ever been called by a political pollster?
I've not. I had to go do that for a class I was in college, and I hated every second of it.
You had to make the calls?
I didn't have to make the calls. I had to go to a polling center and ask people as they came out who they voted for.
Oh, so you were doing it snapshot on Election Day?
Yeah, and I hated it. I did not enjoy it.
Were people were they friendly about it, or were a lot of it's none of your business?
Yeah, a lot of none of your business. I was very friendly when I did it, so people were friendly back. They're just like, I don't really want to talk about that. I was like, that's fine, no worries. I wouldn't either. I don't know why I have to be here. And then I ended up, this was actually funny. I ended up, because I asked 4 people, and I was like, this isn't working. I'm just going to make something up for this assignment. And so I ended up talking to a guy that was out there with signs. And me and him start talking or whatever. He was actually running for some local thing or something like that. And he's out there with his sign trying to get people to vote for him. He's talking to people. And so, I'm kind of using that to also talk to people and ask who they're voted for or whatever. And so we talked for an hour or so, just kind of cutting up and, enjoying conversation.
What a fun class.
We get done with our conversation with him. He goes, hey, man, what you doing after this? I go, going home. And he said, you want to come with me and help me pick up all my signs that I've put out? I was like, I don't think so. I think I'm...
Well, I don't blame him for asking.
I go fast on that. Yeah, he's a nice guy. He actually helped me because he ended up...
Did he win?
I don't remember. This was
I hope so.
This was like 4 or 5 years ago. But he did help me because I asked him because he said since he was on the ballot, he got the results early, and so he was like, "I'll send you the results," and I was like, "Okay, cool."
That's accurate.
Yeah, I don't think it was, but he was like,
That's right.
I think it was.
That's right.
I think at that polling center they like posted it on the wall or something like that, and then like later it would be like reported on the news for that specific one, and he was like,
Well, that is that.
Yeah,
They do that.
That's what he was sending me. He's like, I can send this to you, and I was like, sure, that'll help me for this fake story I have to write for my class. This is interesting.
What a fun class.
I wasn't a fan of it, but yeah.
Have you ever had your hands on an Arbitron ratings book?
I have not, no.
I did.
Really?
In the late 90s and filled it out.
Oh, wow.
Which I don't think you're supposed to be doing that.
Probably not, but
Who's going to report me to Mr. Arbitron now?
Who?
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's crazy. No.
Get my $10 from DirecTV.
That's right. Get your $10. Anybody else out there that wants, a couple bucks? From
I sure
me,
did.
know.
And was and they would send you $1.
Oh, wow.
And brand new. It was like the ones that were printed that day.
Interesting.
Brand new $1.
It's a crisp $1 bill.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
I was trying to skew ratings.
Skew ratings. I love that. What a time. Cardinals start a series tonight with the Reds. What do you think's in store for the Cardinals this weekend against Cincinnati?
Got to take 3 out of 4 in this.
Yeah, I think so.
One team's going in a pretty good direction. One's going in the oppo.
Yeah. You got to take advantage of it. You got Michaelis going tonight, Sonny Gray going on Saturday, Palante going tomorrow, which, we'll see. But I think you got to take advantage of this team.
Sonny Gray goes on Saturday against their young pitcher, Spears from Clemson.
Yeah, and he's been pretty good this year. 3.45 ERA. Hasn't. I think this will be his third start. So
old number 68. So he doesn't have many starts.
No, not many starts at all. But no, there should be some fun pitching matchups. Frankie Montas going for him tomorrow night. I like Frankie Montas a lot. So. But yeah, I think you're right. I think 3 out of 4 you need to win this weekend.
That number in the Reds, a friend of mine went to a late September, both of them out of it, like 97, 98 for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Not very good. He said that weekend the 3 Reds pitchers wore number 61, 68, and 66.
Wow.
He said you knew you were getting
oh man.
The 40-man roster players.
That's interesting. Wow. So yeah, hopefully Cardinals have success this weekend. 7:15. That's tomorrow night. 7:45 start time tonight for the Cardinals against the Reds. Let's go ahead and get to a break though, and when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
It's June, and that means it's celebration month. Whether it's graduation from college, a wedding happening, or any other special occasion, take yourself and your merry band downtown to Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown neighborhood bar. The beauty of Bell Tavern, tucked away in historic Barbaro Alley, is that while it's right smack in the middle of downtown, it's also a quiet oasis with ice-cold beer, an easygoing atmosphere, and signature cocktails you won't find anywhere else. When it's time to celebrate in Memphis, it's time to celebrate at Bell Tavern.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? A man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $110 per month. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, there are great rates available for you as well. Call Term Busters for a quote. 1-800-908-7636. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-908-7636. Remember, call Term Busters. 1-800-908-7636. Sample rate for preferred non-tobacco rate class. Exam required to qualify.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years. of Cashew Crunch, of Heavenly Hash, of Turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. And in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
All right, well, my big number today comes not from the NBA. I know a lot of people talking about the NBA today. We've talked a lot about the NBA today, but my big number comes from Major League Baseball. My big number is 25. Gunnar Henderson for the Baltimore Orioles has 26 home runs this season. 25 of those home runs came while batting first in the order. The only other major leaguer to have 25 or more homers while batting first in a lineup prior to the month of July was Brady Anderson, also with the Baltimore Orioles.
Well, hit 51.
In 1996 with 26 before the month of July. So Gunnar Henderson right alongside with Brady Anderson. What a year that Gunnar Henderson has had. That Orioles team has been really fun to watch, and he's been a big part of why.
96 Orioles, that was the play that the fan interfered in the outfield against them. That was the kind of the last great or even decent Cal Ripken team.
That's right, yeah. So
and Brady Anderson, a lot of rumors around his was a very wind aided.
Yeah.
With his home run power.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right about that. But this Baltimore Orioles team's been fun. Maybe that's what they needed. Maybe it's like
I would have thought that would have been Ricky Henderson.
I would have thought so too.
In the leadoff spot with most home runs.
Yeah, no, that's another good one. But you don't see a ton of guys batting first that
can bop it,
have
like
that home run power.
But we're seeing more of that.
We're seeing definitely more of it.
Brian, if there was a time in baseball, there's no way Kyle Schwarber's anything other than a cleanup guy.
Oh, no chance at all. I think even a couple years ago, you wouldn't think about him being number one.
That Philly team and that Philly batting order, it's just not a weakness.
No, not at all. It's insane. That's a fun team too, the Phillies.
My big number's 37. That's how many Zach Edey scored on Donovan Clingan in the national championship game. To go with 10 rebounds, 37 and 10 to 11 and 5. What wins?
I think I win, Brett, because I didn't want either of them. So I feel like I've seen that argument so much today.
He had Clingan in foul trouble too that night.
No, he absolutely did. Edey definitely won that battle, and then Klingon won the game. So I guess they even each other out. But
because Purdue didn't have a point guard anything like
right.
John Morant.
No, nobody has a point guard anything like John Morant. But no, you're definitely right. He was unbelievable in that national championship game.
Would you
really
consider
good.
John Morant up for, if he had that kind of year, comeback player of the year next year? Is there a criteria? Do you have to be out a number of games, injured? Because he's been injured. He was out a number of games.
I don't think there's a criteria. I think if there was, he would. Like
or can it just be a guy that had a bad year and then had a good year?
Yeah, it definitely that. I don't know. It
He's
feels
in
like,
line for that.
Yeah.
When have comeback player of the year's ever been league MVP?
Interesting. I don't know, because I don't think. I mean, like, how many times have you had something like this where it's a guy that misses this many games and is so important?
Aren't you ready for Grizzlies' happiness to get through this? I mean, this terrible year.
Oh, man.
Then goofy lottery night that
man.
really stung them last night. And now, some of the questions, a lot of the questions around Edey. I'm just so ready to get back to, look, this team's going to go as far as Morant, Jaren, and Bain take them.
Oh, I'm absolutely with you. I want to see, I can't wait to see this team on the court again. Everybody healthy, and I think
happy times again.
And I think it's going to come fast, because I think we and so many people kind of have forgotten what these guys can do together when they're healthy. And so seeing them back out there and seeing them win games, that'll get everyone's spirits through the roof very quickly, I think.
Starting with Denver and then the playoff, ouster to the Lakers, it just hadn't been happy times in Grizzland in a while.
It really hasn't, but hopefully.
How do you think Grizz fam took last night? Do they like or warming up to coming around?
I mean, it seems like, at least if my Twitter is any result, it seemed like most people liked it. And
that's part of being a fan.
We had a guy call during John's show earlier this morning, and unfortunately we didn't have time to get him on, but I talked to him on the phone, and really nice guy, and really appreciate the call. He was saying he was at Southland last night for the watch party and partying. He said that everybody there was very happy with the pick and very excited about the pick. So
Zebo and Tony endorsed it.
That's right. And what else could you want from the Grizzlies? So
I mean, like they would criticize them.
Right. I mean, what are they going to say? But no, I think most of Grizzlies fans, for the most part, I think if you poll,
right, remember this day and remember these times.
Yeah.
And I hope you don't have to see it. I hope badly you don't have to see it.
Yeah.
But if it goes horribly for Zach Edey, remember this honeymoon.
Oh, yeah.
And all the people that will run from it.
Oh, for sure. Well, and I've
hoping, already lived this once with Hashim.
I'm hoping and praying that I'm the one that has to say I'm wrong, because I'll gladly say I'm wrong. I want to have to say I'm wrong. I'm sitting here hoping and praying that I am wrong about this, and that he pans out and is great, and that I look like a fool for not wanting him and not being happy with this pick. But you're right. There's a lot of love for Zach Edey right now, and I hope it plays out. But and I was talking, Connor and I were talking about this last night, when kind of we remember Zach Edey's on the national team for Canada, and so he probably won't be playing summer league, getting ready for the Olympics. Great. I would prefer to see him in the Olympics, playing against Team USA, playing against some of these other national teams that have NBA players on it, rather than seeing him in the summer league playing against potential G League guys. I mean, I want to see this guy up against those type of players.
I hope he doesn't play a down at summer league. No. All that is a bunch of laptop geniuses to pick you apart.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. So we'll see what happens. I think a lot of people like the pick, and we'll see what he can do with the national team. I know now a lot more eyes will be on Canada at the Olympics, their basketball team here in Memphis, with that pick. But let's go ahead and wrap up our second hour and get to a break. And when we come back, we'll talk a little more about the Grizzlies and what they did last night, picking Zach Edey. But we'll also talk some Ole Miss football, because Gary Darby, he joins us next.
It's time to have a good time at Mugshots Grill & Bar in Olive Branch and Carter. Come by for half-price happy hour 2
to 6 Monday through Friday with domestic drafts and $3 snacks. Then try one of Mugshot's 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish it in 12 minutes and it's free. Plus, you get a free shirt. Mugshots in Olive Branch, 6400 Goodman Road, and Mugshots in Carterville, 656 West Poplar. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event, and it's going strong at Dawson Kia on the Pike. Are you ready to ride in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway? We got it! 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $34.99 to a signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. And 2024 Kia Telluride LX3, $57 a month, both $39.99 to its signing, all 24-month lease. And get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Rebates and incentives. Lease includes PF 695, 650 acquisition fee, EV6 P561 0964, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG 510 849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 781 69, MSRP 21820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Simple, smooth, and every sip is easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
To shop at Genesis Times. Lowest interest rates on the place. Zero interest for 5 years with nothing down. Time is running out. You have until this Sunday to do this. How about a $6,000 GIA See store for details.
Everyone loves home improvement. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51 makes it easy. A real hardware store run by 3 generations of a real hardware family where you can get it on. Whether it's repairs, remodeling, or new building, kitchens, bathrooms, tiles, tubs, vanities, sinks, mirrors, lighting, furniture, even door hardware. All the latest designs as well as timeless classics. And if outdoor fun is on your mind, they have the Big Green Egg and Accessories. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51, 8560 Highway 51. Easy home improvement.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It hadn't been that bad as far as serious wrecks now. TDOT's out here in those help trucks helping with a couple of stalled vehicles. It has picked up with more volume on 240 East from Mill Branch out to 385. But again, we've been in decent shape so far as it builds I-40 west across the Hernando de Soto Bridge, headed back over into West Memphis. Hey, Havenly Showers is your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub to curbless shower conversion. Check them out, havenlyshowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, a Brett Norsworthy
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour. And joining us now to talk some Grizzlies, talk some Ole Miss football, Gary Darby joins us now. And Gary, I know a lot of talk today about the draft. We thought we had a couple more picks until the Grizzlies' next pick, but now it looks like they have traded up to number 53. On ESPN, it looks like it's the Pistons draft pick, but it was really the Timberwolves pick via a trade, and now it looks like the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies have done a trade, and the Grizzlies have selected Cam Spencer, the guard from UConn. So it looks like all of the picks have been done for the Grizzlies. I know we'll talk a ton about Zach Edey, but it looks like shooting was a priority for the Grizzlies today. They go out and get a pair of guards in round 2. What do you make of what they've done today?
Break it down for us, Darb.
Yeah. You know that the front office could not go without making a deal, right? They had to do something.
That's right.
No matter what. I think they did address with yesterday and with today areas of need. Now what will the two guys actually that heard the names called today in Jalen Wells from Washington State, and as you just mentioned, they just made the deal to do what they did and to get UConn's Cam Spencer, but I mean they needed and truthfully they needed some maybe combo type guards, yes. To be, to look at, right? The thing with the Grizzlies and all of this, guys, is, unlike teams like a Detroit and Toronto and in others that may have had that lottery pick or picking now or making these trades, they're not asking for guys to come in and play 30 to 35 minutes and help them build something. They're looking for pieces to a puzzle and to get opportunities with. I think the plan was what they did, what they accomplished. Get a big, get a couple of wing type and shooting guards, and then I think they'll make a little, attempt at something in a free agency role, and then let it play out. So with everybody else that's already on the roster. So I think it was a good 2 days for the Grizzlies.
I do too, Gary. I want to believe that, and I know you do, because it was not a lot of fun late night on the left coast with just the losses racking up, and really after the jaw injury, after the return, we never even got the season rebooted. We never booted it. It felt like. So we were just talking about, we all want to get back to where we know this team can be. It's been there, and it can get back there. Brian asked me minutes played next year for Zach Edey, and I said 15 to 18. Okay, I'll go up to 20. But you just said it. You're not asking him to come in and play 34 minutes.
You're not, and you're not asking him to put up numbers like he did. And obviously, there's going to be a big jump, a big learning curve for the big dude from what he did at Purdue to what he's going to be asked to do with the Grizzlies. You're going to ask him, stand at that free throw line, my man, be 7'3 3/4 with a wingspan, and set some of those screens for Ja to get him rolling down. Mm-hmm. Let him be able to, take it to the rack, you follow, or you get the dunk, or we're kicking it out, to Dez or to whatever might be on the wing, Luke Kennard, if he's still around, right? Things like that. You're not asking him to go be a 20 and 10 guy. Now, you may be asking him to be close to that 10 on the rebound side because, I went back and kind of looked at things. You mentioned last year, and even in the bad year, guys, the Grizzlies' 20 wins that they came, 20 of the wins they came up with, they out-rebounded the opponent. When you didn't have, and that was in the rough year that it was, they were 20 and 8 when they out-rebounded the opponent. Well, what was kind of missing from that Grizzlies team last year, even if healthy, right? What was kind of missing from that team? A dude that's going to be around the rim, he's going to grab some of those offensive boards. He's going to stick some easy stuff back in. He can get you those defensive boards, which frees up Jaren to do some different things. It frees up a Brandon Clark when he's in that mix. It frees up so much just to have, let's look back at the two prior, Jonas Valanciunas and Steven Adams, and the things that they did and how it opened it up for the rest of those guys on the team. That's all you're asking him to do. And if he does average between 20 to 25, I mean, then I think you're getting more out of him than you thought you were going to get out of the big fella. And there's still some concerns. I mean, how's he going to pass out of that, pick and roll situation? I think we've heard from, his coach, Coach Painter at Purdue, talk about how he has gotten better at that, but there's more to be done. And can he move the feet enough to defend? And I say this, he's 7'3" 3/4" with a 7'10" wingspan. He can give one step, right? And kind of make it back up for what he is. And I just think it was a pick for fit at number 9. And again, it's not a guy that you're asking to lead them to a championship. You're just asking him to be a part of things.
Gary, one thing I noticed last year that I really liked is you watched him play in college, and we know people of that size. It sure happened to Yao Ming. It's just natural that their knees go out on them really fast. Last year, not only not a knee pad on either knee, and never did you see him, even in a Purdue blowout, as soon as he got to the bench area, they were icing him up immediately. So it tells me that, at least we're starting out with plenty of tread on the tire.
Correct. And the feet become a problem for those big guys, too.
Yeah.
The wear and tear of going up and down that floor with a normal-sized individual playing in the world of the NBA is tough. When you are that side and you're banging around with all of those other big guys in the NBA, it is tough. And that's, again, why you're not going to be asking him to be out there and to chew up all the minutes that are available at the center position. You're going to be able to move some things around, and that's why I kind of mentioned free agency too. I'm going to think they're going to try and sneak in, somewhere a free agent big guy that can kind of get some of the rest of those minutes that you are and that you're looking for, and not put so much pressure and wear and tear on him.
Yeah. Last night after the draft was over, Zach Kleiman spoke to reporters, and while talking to them, he said this is how we wanted the draft to play out tonight. Obviously, a lot of rumors before the draft about the Grizzlies moving up. It felt like every single rumor that you heard about a team moving up had the Grizzlies involved in it. What did you make of what Kleiman said? Kind of also said when asked about moving up, kind of said, I haven't seen that reported anywhere. What did you make of what Kleiman had to say after the draft?
I mean, that they made efforts, right? And that they made phone calls, and phone calls were made to them. It's just what happens, and there was just one way or another what the package was that the people wanted to send the Grizzlies. Obviously, maybe that's not what they wanted, and you had teams, which was surprising. I think a lot of people probably were thinking about Charlotte, right, and moving up to number 6, get in front of Portland so that you could go there. And, it just didn't work out. And, it takes, 2 teams to pull it off, or 3 teams to pull it off. It's not always as easy as maybe if we're in a roto league or if we're in some, we can trick a guy into trading us something, You can't just go give 3 or 4, prospects or second-round picks and bring back a superstar, get what you want. It takes a lot of moving parts to get it done. And it just didn't work, yesterday for a first-round pick. Look, we've seen this front office move and what it does, and they tried. It just wasn't in the works, and so they did what they needed. They addressed, I think, what the need was. I know the debate happens all the time about drafting need and maybe not taking best player available. I think for the Grizzlies, and again, guys, we're talking about this big word that has 2 letters in it, if. If they're healthy, if this, if that, this is a group that is going to be back in the mix in the West. How high? I don't know, because the West is really, really good, 1 through double-digit teams. So, but we know they can be a 50, we've seen a team win 50 or more. That they're going to be able to be in that mix playoff-wise, if healthy. And so, again, maybe they couldn't make the trade to get up for Klingon if that was the case, but I think they did okay with what they got. I really do. I know there's been a lot of grades that are thrown out there, and I think they did with the fit and what they needed a pretty good job.
I do too, Gary. Gary Darby with us from the Grizzlies Network and Ole Miss Football, and you hear him here every Monday night on Rebel Yell Hotline. He covers a lot of things, and in the football season, he has an uncanny ability to be in two places at one time. I've witnessed it through the years. Gary is a big Cincinnati Reds fan.
Oh,
So
man.
you mean, Gary, in the 70s, it wouldn't just been as easy as, hey, Gary, let me trade my Ted Simmons for your Johnny Bench. It wouldn't be that easy on trades.
It would not be just that. No, there'd have to be a little something. There's nothing wrong with Ted, but, the Reds are just not going to give up the guy that can hold 7 or 8 baseballs in his
That's
hand,
right.
They just weren't going to do that.
They weren't
They were
going
going
to
to keep Johnny Bench along the way. But it that's the thing. Fans would like to see, and let's just put it this way. It isn't always going to work out to where Bronny James gets drafted by the team his dad plays on, right?
That's
It
right.
doesn't always work out that way. It has worked out that way today, and in trades. And, you just can't, always pick it. Sometimes you get lucky and it works out. You find a team that'll help you with that need, but it's not easy.
I said at the end of the Grizzlies year, I thought they played their what's off to get to the number of wins they did. In that 20 wins, 8 losses rebounding statistic, it tells it rebounding is hard. Rebounding is playing hard. That team, there were some games that got away from them, but it did not wholesale quit.
Oh, never. And I think you saw with that, and it showed with the not quit in Vince Williams, right? It showed in the G.G. Jackson growing up through last season and becoming a valuable second-round pick that you got in last year's draft. And you found through the bad, you found a couple of rotation guys that are going to be able to give you significant minutes again this year. Now what you got to figure out is how do you work them all in with everybody else, because you didn't get some of that. You found guys that you can put out on the floor and be really productive NBA players that last year were having to be your third or fourth option on the guys that were healthy and on the floor when you think at least going into this season, right, they're going to be in that next group. They're going to be 8, 9, 10. And things of that nature, again, if everybody's healthy and on the floor. So, it was bad. Look, I was really spoiled when I got the opportunity to join the broadcast crew in 2011. Now, it was a lockout year. It was a tough, difficult year. But I thought, this is what it's always supposed to be like.
Playoffs.
You win, you do this. Couple of years in, you got, that I'm doing post games in the Western Conference Finals. And I'm thinking, this is pretty cool. And then it goes on, and you realize that you're going to get in professional sports. Some of these years, like eventually I have been involved in, where you're talking about 28 different guys that have put on a uniform and had a couple of those seasons. That's just the way of the world in professional sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Talking to Gary Darby, obviously a lot of Grizzlies talk, but also with Ole Miss football season getting closer and closer, and I know a lot of people have been talking today. It feels like all the headlines when it comes to college football have centered around what teams are ranked and what stadiums are ranked for the new college football video game. Today,
a lot of lists.
Today they roll out the top 25 offenses for the game. Ole Miss ranked 13th in the top 25 offenses behind Penn State, behind Clemson, behind Colorado, behind Missouri, to name a few that are in front of them. How good will this offense be this season for Ole Miss under Lane Kiffin, bringing back your starting quarterback, bringing back a couple weapons? How good will it be this season? How good will it be compared to some of the other SEC teams?
On paper, it looks really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And it's got to get out there and put it all together. And as Brett knows, we've had these conversations on the phone already as to when you're talking about some of the guys that do return, some of the guys that are added, some of the guys that who transferred into a wide receiver room or a tight end room or whatever it might be, where they realize they're not going to be the number one option. They may not be the number 2 option. They transferred in to be the number 3 and number 4 option of an offense with, Dart at quarterback, and the running back room has been kind of pieced back together again. And truthfully, it's nice to have all those pieces. And guys, you know this too. But if those big dudes with the fingers down in the dirt don't stay healthy, it doesn't matter.
Changes
If those
immediately.
offensive linemen aren't protecting Dart, giving him time to throw or opening up things, and I think that's one of the things that's kind of getting lost in the, it could be high flying, lots of points scored. It's those big dudes wearing 60s and 70s that are going to make the difference in what any offense does, but in particular in this one as well. I think it can be as good as anybody's in the country. And the thing that, Lane Kiffin offense will do, it's going to find you. It's going to if the receiver's going to be able to find some things, the tight end, we look at Prescorn from last year, or whoever it might be, the running back, he's going to find something. He's going to find the hot hand, and he's going to work it. And it's an NFL type deal too now. I mean, it's not going to be where you're running 6 to 7 different wide receivers necessarily out there. He's going to find his 3 or 4, and he's going to go with them. And same way with tight end, again, as long as health is concerned. If they can stay healthy and that offensive line can stay healthy, it can be really, really good.
Okay, I was listening to you guys Monday night driving home on Rebel Yell Hotline on these airwaves, and it sounded, the enthusiasm in everybody's voice, it sounded like it was the Monday night before opening game. I mean, opening game coming up that Saturday. With that, you've been around it your entire life, been part of the broadcast team, been a fan, all that. Is this the most anticipated Ole Miss football season you've ever seen?
Yes. I mean, there were probably some times that I can't remember, that were there. But the chips are, look, and Brett knows.
You've been around since Doug Elmore was quarterback, though.
I'm a poker player. The chips are all in the middle. I mean, they're there. I mean, it's like shoved in. And, now you just have to hope that nobody outrivers you, that the ace from space doesn't come out and grab you at the end. I mean, it is definite that they have, with their collective, and you have to. Here's the thing, and this was every school these days. The fan base has to step up and help, and the Ole Miss fan base has done that, and it has given to the Grove Collective the opportunity to go out and to piece together what they have done.
It's a good investment.
The anticipation is there, and you and I have had this conversation too, Brett. The thought of there is that possibility that in December you could be hosting, who knows, whatever team it is, in one of the playoff games is what people are talking about now. You're talking about December now, as compared to going to an SEC title game. You're talking about hosting Notre Dame or hosting Penn State or hosting
essentially
whatever.
A bowl game in Oxford.
Yeah,
absolutely, and people making their plans to pack in for that. So yeah, I have to. The anticipation is there, and then I've also heard the Ole Miss fans who are like, "Oh, I dread this because we know what's going to happen," along the way too. The debate is there, but I don't think there's any doubt. It's all in. And the anticipation is there from all standpoints, from the university, the athletic department, to the fan base, to the players. I mean, Jackson Dart, came out right after, a couple of days or so or whatever it took after the bowl game to come back and say he's running it back, and it's for this purpose to go all in and try and do something that's, look, we've seen double-digit wins, 111, but something that's never been done, and that's maybe hosting a playoff in this college football situation, and then move on, see what happens from there.
Gary, I take all the credit for the breaking news from Jackson Dart post-game with me on the field in Atlanta.
That's right.
When he said, if 100%. You know, you know.
That's right.
100%.
You mentioned Jackson Dart. I saw earlier today Phil Steele ranked the 2025 NFL draft eligible quarterbacks. He had Jackson Dart ranked number 2 right behind Carson Beck. You talk about him coming back. What are those expectations for Jackson Dart? And is this a guy that at the end of the year, after a great season for Ole Miss, we're talking about him in that conversation for a top quarterback, maybe even in the Heisman conversation?
And Gary, if he has that record-setting year and he enters into that mythic Ole Miss status, I don't know if we can put up 2-mile-per-hour signs on campus. we could walk faster than that.
I cannot go 18. I cannot go 10 as it is. You're right. 2 is not going to. We'd have to get out and push. It'd be like Al Bundy in the Dodge. We'd have to get out and push that baby to get through campus. I know this, and Brett can back it up. That young man played hurt last year. The toughness is
from Arkansas on.
The toughness is there for him to do anything. You know, the arm is there. The touch is there. I think he can play himself into the conversation. And again, it's going to be where Ole Miss is in that win-loss column too, as to whether he gets, Brian, to answer your question about the Heisman situation. They're going to have to win double digits. They're going to have to be in that situation where he has led them into a playoff scenario, not just a playoff scenario, but maybe be 5 seed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's going to have to lead them into that top 5, 6 situation to maybe get to New York and be in that factor. Where is he? You know, and it changes. Somebody's going to surprise us and step up in the college football world's quarterback position, do things we didn't expect them to do, and get into that mix.
Great point. Great point. Because nobody saw Jaden Daniels winning the Heisman.
That's right. That's right. I mean, there's going to be somebody that steps in and does something that you didn't expect them to do. But I think he knows these expectations. He knows what's required of him as a quarterback and as a leader of the team, which is why he came back. I think he wants it. I think he wants what's about to happen this year, for good or for bad. I think Jackson Dart came back to college for that reason.
Yeah. Well, Gary, thanks so much for joining us. Always a lot of fun, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, Gary. Gary Darby with us from the Grizzlies Radio Network and also from the Ole Miss Learfield Football Network. And I hope Gary and I are still friends after the weekend with the Reds and the Cardinals.
Oh man, it could get ugly between you two.
I think we will be.
I think so.
He mentioned Dart injured. Dart was injured, hurt pretty bad after the Arkansas game last year. We were under threat of banishment from the earth if we really expressed how injured he was. Then we get to the bowl, and he was really suffering and had ever grumble at the Egg Bowl. So we get to the bowl season, having plenty of time to get well, got hurt on the second play of the game at the bowl game against Penn State. And on the sideline, Austin Simmons was warming up to come in.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It was not going to be Walker Howard going
Holy
in.
cow.
Austin Simmons was getting loose and, I mean, heating it up to head in.
Wow, that's crazy to even think about.
And think of this offseason Ole Miss has had. It would not be enjoyed that if that bowl game had been a loss.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. I mean that bowl game win set up what all that excitement, like you said, listening to Rebel yell the other night. You hear that excitement for this upcoming season. None of that would have been there. There sure would have been excitement, but it wouldn't be like it is right now without that.
11-2 just broke different than 10-3 would have.
You're absolutely right. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. The draft has come and gone. We'll talk a little bit about it. We mentioned at the beginning of the segment, Cam Spencer, the final selection for the Grizzlies in this draft. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk some other things during What's Trending. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at
specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
I got him on the line, Jason, the main man Marshall, and he's ready to rock and gossip Volkswagen on the pike.
Randy, it's vacation time, so take the road wherever it leads you with 42 miles per gallon on the highway in a brand new 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for only $249 a month.
That's an awesome deal at Gossip Volkswagen on the pike. And Jason, my main man Marshall, everybody in Memphis knows when it comes to a great deal, it's all about choices.
Take your pick from 2024 Tiguan S front-wheel drive or a 2024 Taos SE for only $279.28 a month, plus 0% for 60 months on all new 24 Taos. And you know my motto, make me an offer, because nothing reasonable will be refused.
Ask for Jason, the main man Marshall, at Gossip Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike. Online, gossipvwmemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. You'll find the lowest rates on Tuesday through Thursday afternoons. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
Summer's heating up, and so are the savings at Choate's. We've got 3 incredible offers to make your season spectacular. First up, our Grill and Chill with Choate's Summer Special. Upgrade your HVAC system and choose between a free Yeti cooler or a Green Egg grill on select systems. Then power through any outage with Choate's generators. Be one of the first 50 customers to buy a generator and score a massive 75-inch TV or an iPad. Also, don't forget about our tankless water heater offer. Purchase a tankless water heater from Choate's and receive a premium toilet free. Don't wait. These offers are too good to last. Turn to the experts with Choate's and call 347-8086 or visit us online today for your free estimate. Now introducing Choate's air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and generators. Choate's, let our family serve your family.
Is your vehicle stopping like it should? Does it squeal or grind when you brake? Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A little bit of volume continues over here on 240 eastbound from Mill Branch all the way up to Perkins as you get on to 385 Billmore's Parkway. It looks pretty decent right now. Headed on out towards Collierville. It has cranked up also with more volume over here on, let's say, 40 east from Sycamore View Road all the way out to Germantown Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry right here in Memphis specializes in bridal ring purchases. They have since 1984. Shop local. Save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
All right, well, the NBA draft has come to a conclusion, a 2-day process that I do not like. I tried to wait and watch the whole thing and decide. It's not the worst thing. It could be worse. I do like the fact that with the 2-day process, they talk more about those second-round guys as they're being drafted. You see more highlights. We didn't see any guys getting picked while we were on commercial or anything like that. I like that part of it, but nothing special about being on day 2. I liked it better one night, and I'm going to stick with that.
You think next year it stays 2 days or back to 1?
No, I think it probably stays to 2 days.
I think it stays.
Go ahead.
I think it stays, and I think it goes to a 6 o'clock window.
I could see that. I probably would like that a lot better.
We know why. I mean, the debate tonight.
Yeah, I didn't even think about
blocking
that
out the
until
sun.
yesterday when we were talking about it. So you're probably right.
I'm going to watch Cardinals and Reds
yeah,
tonight, though.
I'm going to be watching baseball as well. I think the teams probably prefer 2 days. I'm sure, like, after this, if you interviewed anybody in the front office, they would say, I like the 2 days
just to kind of reset and get your stuff together.
Exactly, and really figure out who you want to go get. But as a viewer, I prefer
it's
one
not
night.
as big a money,
Right.
but it potentially can be.
Sure.
This is big instead of kind of being under the gun. Let's think this out a little bit.
Definitely. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the 2 day. I think it's fine, but I'm not. Whatever. It's whatever. Brian James heard his name today, where we all thought he would with the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, good luck to him. I think he's a guy that you can develop and could be a fine player in the NBA. It's not going to be next year. It's probably not going to be the year after that.
Probably not going to be with the Lakers.
No, probably not going to be with the Lakers. But he'll be with that G League team next year, and I hope he has success.
And I think his dad has done enough for the sport to be accommodated.
Oh,
with
for sure. I mean, when you're talking about him, even in the conversation of greatest player ever, I think he's done enough. I think
now from this point forward, you really have to earn it, though, don't you?
Sure. Yes,
it's not going to be celebrity game minutes.
No. I think you get drafted is the end of it. I think after that you got to work for it.
You go to the scores table because you can.
Sure, exactly. So no, that was cool. We mentioned it earlier. Cam Spencer gets taken by the Grizzlies. They traded up to go get him. A little cool kind of side story of this. Cam Spencer and Santi Aldama were teammates at Loyola, Maryland a while ago. Cam Spencer's first team out of high school. So they were teammates together, so now they'll be back together. And, I like this pick. I think, a guard that can bring shooting to the table. And also, I think when you look at that team last year, there was nobody that replicated their coach more in the country than Cam Spencer last year. I mean, he was his coach on the field. The emotion, the leadership, I think everything about him was Dan Hurley out on the court. And so I like this pickup. You get him in the second round and, see what he can do in Summer League, see what he can do, in camp with the G League. And, maybe down the road he can be a guy that you can call to off the bench. And I think that'd be great.
And he one job, stroke threes, right?
Yeah. You're a shooter, and I think he can bring that for you. I mean, 44% last year from three, so I love that.
But a lot of decisions for the Grizzlies to make really over the next week.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it doesn't stop now.
Their work's just started.
Sure,
yeah.
for some teams it was it's draft and then you're done. Go see those guys in summer league and get ready for free agency. For the Grizzlies, it's go time. I mean, last night started the off-season work, and so now you got to figure out what you want to do with Kennard, and that's going to be the biggest question. You got to figure out, do you want to bring all these guys back, or are there guys that you want to try to deal and figure something out with? You know what that core group of guys looks like, but what's going to be around them, and I think that's going to be the biggest question. I think when you look at checklists, it's what do you do with Kennard? And then right after that, I think it's, who do you bring in as your other center? Because I don't think you can go into next year with just Zach Edey. And so we'll see what the free agent market looks like. We'll see if there's somebody that comes about via trade. But it's definitely going to be a busy offseason for the Grizzlies.
But Zach Edey will get treated nicely and well received around town, and he should get that.
No, you're absolutely right. He will, and we'll get to hear from him tomorrow, and I know it'll be fun atmosphere for that downtown tomorrow, and that'll start the Zach Edey era in Memphis. And
I wonder what number. I do.
I also wonder what number it will be. I say give him number one. Everybody wants to act like he's number one in their hearts, that he was number one pick for them all along. Give him number one. Let him go out there and be number one.
We know a big man number is 50, but it's up in the rafters.
Yeah, no, can't be 50.
Can't be 33.
Can't be 33. Can't be 13 because that's being filled right now.
15.
15, right?
Brandon Clark.
Yeah, well, 13's filled too, I guess. But you can't be. A couple numbers you can't be, but I'm sure he'll find a number. It'll be a fun
It will be
number.
with a lot of scrutiny, though. Hit day in, game out. The box score examination will be there.
Oh no, it will be. I mean, he's going to be a guy that every single game he's going to be criticized.
He got 4 points and 2
right.
rebounds. I mean, it's going to be there.
ESPN basketball just posted a graphic for Bronny getting drafted. Side-by-side picture of him as a small child and then him in college. It says pressure was never questioned when passion has always been the answer.
Okay.
Nike, how about that? Okay, cool. I guess.
Got billions of dollars invested, don't they?
Good for him. Nike got to keep that family happy, I guess, when LeBron's attached to it. But good draft. I don't have any issues with the draft. I'm fine with it. I'm with Zach Edey. Some other news around the country. Brett, you sent me this earlier. We talked to Bill Bender and last week, and he said that he was getting ready for to put out his 12-team playoff, and a lot of predictions. He's been doing a ton of work over at the Sporting News. Well, that is out. We saw this. You sent it to me. Super West Sports posted it on Twitter, but quoted Bill Bender or cited Bill Bender in this. This is how Bill Bender has his first 12-team playoff predictions over at the Sporting News. First round, number 9 seed Clemson at number 8 seed Alabama. 10 seed Ole Miss at 7th seed Oregon. 11th seed Michigan at 6th seed Notre Dame, the one everybody's curious about. 12 seed Memphis at 5 seed Texas. That was my prediction when we last did it. I had Memphis.
There are a lot of those out there.
That would be a fun one. I would love Memphis and Texas.
The 12, it seems like the spot, but the Tigers could be, even with losing at FSU, and winning all the rest of their games and the AAC championship game, at 12-1, they could be an 11 seed.
They could, but
in the 4 big conferences, 1 through 4.
Sure.
But I can't sell lower than 11 seed with a loss.
No.
Now, if they're 13, they pull the upset, and they're 13-0. They could be a lot of different seeds.
They could. No, they absolutely could. And that's.
I don't think they would be 12 if that's the scenario.
No, I don't.
And that is very grandiose.
Sure.
But if it is that, remember, talking season, there's a lot of ifs.
Plenty of ifs. But you said I think the safe bet is that they're the 12 seed. But you're right. There are other options. 13-0. It's anything is in play.
If you're network TV, which one of those 4 games on campus that weekend do you put in the Friday night spot? If you're making the call with ESPN and they're subletting it to selling their time to TBS.
Oh, I forgot about that game. It's going to be on.
Yeah, all of them are.
All of them are.
No, that's not right. That's not right. Not that weekend.
Yeah, I think it's. Is it this one and then a middle one on Saturday? Is that right?
I think so.
I think that's right.
Which one would you put on Friday?
I don't know.
Do you eat the ratings with a game, or do you want to come out when you kind of have Friday night by yourself?
Yeah, that's the question is how do you, if you're a TV network, how do you play this? Do you say, I don't want to put a marquee game on right there because, it's Friday night, we're not going to carry on ESPN, or do you want to say, let's go all out? It's, we have Friday night to ourselves.
I go all out. I put Bama Clemson in that spot.
See, that's kind of where I was landing.
A lot of name brand value. Sure. They've played for that big of stakes a couple of different times. Mm-hmm. And you come out of the gate big with that, and then on Saturday you hope you just get the tailwind that all of them catch.
Well, and I think that's the way to go because I think all of the playoff games.
I don't need anything.
I think all of the playoff games are going to get good ratings because people are going to want to watch this first round of the first ever 12-team college football playoffs.
Big time NFL
You're right.
Saturday.
You're right. But that's why you throw a game like Alabama and Clemson on Friday night because I think people are going to want to watch it. And so you
get them kind of playoff.
Sure.
Ready?
You already have the fans, the college football fans that are going to watch it. Then you have casual fans that are just going to say, okay, first time 12-team playoff, I'll tune in. What better way to capture them than a matchup between Alabama and Clemson?
Give me a trip to Oregon.
Oh, man, you would love that. That'd be fun.
Never been to the state. Never seen the Oregon Ducks in person.
Yeah.
Check, and couple checks.
I'm all for a trip to Austin. Texas.
Wouldn't we be? Can you imagine that week of radio?
I mean, that'd be unbelievable.
Can you imagine?
Nah, I can't even think of it. But
all right, go to the next round of what he expects for the next round.
Okay, so the quarterfinals, Rose Bowl would be 2-seed Ohio State versus Oregon. So he has Oregon beating Ole Miss. Fiesta 3.
Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
And if that's the case, that is a great Ole Miss year.
That's great.
That is a great year.
Absolutely.
And all I'm expecting is be in the playoffs.
Sure.
I hadn't said one word ever about winning at all.
No, and I mean that would mean going on the road to Oregon and losing. There's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think it's a fail not to get to the playoffs.
Sure, absolutely. So that's the Rose Bowl. Fiesta Bowl, he has 3-seed Utah versus Notre Dame. So he has Notre Dame beating Michigan. Peach Bowl, he has number 1 seed Georgia playing Alabama, which would be just a great matchup in the Peach Bowl. Holy cow.
Ali Frazier, take 29.
That's right. So that would mean Alabama beating Clemson. And then in the Sugar Bowl, this, as unfortunate as it is, this would be a great matchup. 4-seed Florida State. So he has Florida State as the 4-seed winning the ACC. He has Florida State versus Texas in the Sugar Bowl. That would be a fun game, Texas versus Florida State.
Boy, Florida State, I think they would be in some kind of gnarly mood after last year and that whipping they had to take with all the opt-outs after being heartbroken.
Absolutely.
Norvell's going to make somebody pay.
He's definitely going to. And
I don't blame him.
No, not at all.
I'd be running hot too.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I don't blame him at all. And, I would love to see him get his team back into the playoffs because I think, like you said, I would not want to face Mike Norvell's team if he does get them into the playoffs.
Brian, Texas is good at kind of having that gaff game.
Okay, all right.
What if that weekend they did it against the Memphis Tigers?
Oh, man. Just had that out of nowhere bad game.
Again, can you imagine the radio?
Oh man,
around all this,
it would be great. It would be great.
It would be
a rematch against Florida State. How about that? It'd be fun. I'm looking at the text line. We've gotten a lot of texts today about Zach Edey, and a lot of people seem to like this pick, which glad for it. Glad that people are for it. Seeing a lot of Edey's will be a productive player. Here's one that doesn't like it. No, that says Grizz. I thought it said G League. I can only see the first couple of letters. A lot of people like it. Zach Edey worth the pick after couldn't get Klingon. But we do have a text come in about your Sunday ticket and how much money you could get. Not getting $10. I think you get $6.88. You pay more than you get. So
I'll take it.
I'll take anything. I mean, if you're offering me money,
I'll bend over and pick up a penny. I dang sure bend over and pick up $6.88.
Sure, why not? But back to the paperwork. Are you doing all the paperwork for $6?
I don't know about all that.
It's a lot of paperwork, Brad.
You know I don't like email.
No. You definitely don't. So that might be where we draw the line for $6. But let's go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Hi, this is Eric Hasseltine telling you to hurry. Hurry to Genesis Diamonds right now. The clock is ticking on Genesis Diamonds' amazing finance offer. You have until Sunday to take advantage of the hottest offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing. You can get that stunning designer engagement ring starting as low as $67 a month, or a 3-carat lab-grown center diamond just $99 a month. It's the smartest, fastest, and best way to buy. But hurry, this incredible offer ends this weekend and will not be extended. Only at Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. It's going strong at Dawson Kia on the Pike. Are you ready to ride in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway? We got it! 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $34.99 to a signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. And 2024 Kia Telluride LX 357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease. And get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Rebates and incentives. Lease includes PF 695, 650 acquisition fee, EV6 P561 0964, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG 510 849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 78169, MSRP 21820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Get Bosch Pure Vision wiper blades, buy one, get one free at O'Reilly Auto Parts, in-store only. We'll install them for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. We're about to get to Taco Bell Crunch Time, but having some technical issues with the computer. But we should have that in just a second. And let's go ahead and go to Taco Bell Crunch Time.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is the Grizzlies draft is complete. They take 3 guys through 2 days and 2 rounds. Obviously, Zach Edey has been much discussed today, the first-round pick. Last night at number 9 overall, but today they draft a pair of wings. Talking to Michael Cole over the last couple of weeks, he said the 2 biggest needs and the 2 biggest things that the Grizzlies need to address during the draft was a center, a big man, but also wing scoring and three-point shooting specifically. Jalen Wells, a guy that was kind of a late bloomer, but shot the ball really well for Washington State last year. They take him. Then they go trade up to get Cam Spencer, a guy that last year shot 44% from 3 for the team that won the national championship. His career, a 41.7 three-point shooter, so a really solid three-point shooter. I don't expect either of these guys to be immediate contributors for the Grizzlies, but guys that they can develop, and I think guys that down the road could definitely help this Grizzlies team.
Did you notice who's leading at Detroit at the Rocket Mortgage Classic?
My guy, Bhatia.
Akshay Bhatia.
How about
Very
that?
good. Very good. 8 under. That's some good playing. What I learned today is right now is usually the time for conference realignment news breaking around college football. There's a lot more going on off the grid on conference realignment than's out there in the public. It may not be the historic movement we've had the last 3 summers.
Sure.
In 21, Texas and OU. In 22, USC and UCLA and other PAC teams. In 23, the final dissolution of the PAC. But this is one of the big reasons why I think University of Memphis moved so quickly on getting a new AD hired, because there's a lot of things going on right now that Dr. Scott's got to be involved in because it can move fast, and you've got to have somebody there driving the ship.
Oh, you absolutely have to, and he'll be introduced tomorrow as the athletic director. So busy day in terms of
a lot of jerseys
introducing
being
people.
held up
Yes,
tomorrow.
a lot
Good
of
day.
jerseys.
Good day.
Very
Happy
good
day.
Absolutely.
We want both to be blockbusters.
100%. But what I could have done without today, I think we all assumed it, but a pair of Tigers that were on big boards, pair of Tigers that were maybe thought of, especially David Jones, that could maybe sneak into that late second round. Both those guys go undrafted, and so now we wait. Especially David Jones, a guy that had some hype, had some buzz, was part of the combine. We'll see if he picks up a two-way somewhere, where he lands. But we are learning some guys that have signed 2 ways. Brett, your guy PJ Hall, he signs with the Denver Nuggets on a 2-way. I really like that fit. And how about this? DJ Burns, the guy that everyone fell in love with during the NCAA tournament,
Big man,
will join the Cleveland Cavaliers for the NBA Summer League. So no 2-way deal or anything yet for him, but has a spot for Summer League. A lot of people, I'm sure, will be watching the Cleveland Cavs, see what he can do in the Summer League for them.
I didn't like this. I could have done without the split draft coverage last night.
Yeah.
I didn't like kind of the cat fight with Stephen A. and Bob Myers all night, wanting to kind of to stay in it. And it got so bad I had to turn to Jay Billis and Andrea Carter.
How about that? Those were your options last night, Brett. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, that's about it. Where are you beaming tonight?
It's Busch Stadium, Cardinals and Reds. Cardinals need to stay hot. Reds need to get hot. Andrew Abbott wearing number 41 for the Reds. Nobody will confuse him with Tom Seaver against Miles Michaelis.
Yeah, beam me. How about we go up to Toronto for this Yankees and Blue Jays game? Man, were you watching the Yankees last night? A big-time loss to the Mets. We'll see if they can get back tonight against the Blue Jays. Carlos Rodon on the mound for them.
Jack Flaherty for the Tigers tonight.
Jack Flaherty for the Tigers tonight. We also have Team USA going up right now for the Copa Americas against Panama.
What's the score?
1-1 at the half. They're down a man. Got a red card, Brett, so they'll be playing
1-1.
on 10.
That hit the over, didn't it?
I'm sure it did, yes. Certainly the over for Panama. I don't think many people thought they would go out and score in the first half. But that's all the time we have today. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade.